So you have no hoes, nobody wants you, and you're probably gonna end up alone. Now, why do you think that is? Okay, now the first thing I have to give you, you might be chopped. Okay, you might not look too good. In that instance, there's nothing I can help you with. Like maybe go to the gym, pray to God, get cosmetic surgery. Maybe find another chopped person, and y'all can get together and do your chopped thing. Just try not to procreate. I'm joking. Sometimes unattractive people do give birth to attractive people. But overall, I don't know what to say to you because I don't really have too much experience in the area as a grown adult. Like in early high school, I was very chopped. I got things done, but again, like my standards, they were kind of in the floor. And also, we were all like children. So there's nothing really for you to bite onto there. Okay. However, I feel like a lot of it is a mindset thing. Like there are many of you where you don't have to be in a situation that you're in, but your mindset is putting you there. Now, mind you, I will say, am I handsome, athletically built, very tall, charismatic, clouded up man? Yes, yes, I am. However, since I've been 17 years old, I'm now 23, I have been able to, if I wanted to, enter a relationship at any point in time I pleased. And I feel like part of the magic is the way I approach things because I also find that other people who approach things to me similarly are in the same situation as I. The cardinal sin that many of you are committing, okay, especially on social media, it's very much encouraged. You're caring too much about everything. Like when I say about everything, like in regards to this, low key, definitely about everything. And legitimately, it's a layered thing. It's like you're talking to these people. You're like, oh my gosh, I hope they really like me. You're at home. You're like, oh, I hope I can find someone to be in a relationship with. You're on these dating apps, swiping, being like, oh my gosh, I got to take this person out on a date. Oh my gosh, I hope this person takes me out on a date. And it's like it shouldn't be like that. Like you understand, most people out there, including yourself, I'm sure you've seen it. You can sense the desperation in somebody. You can see when it's like, oh, like they really need this to work. And it's like, yeah, that desperation can be shared, but even when it is shared, there's kind of a sense of something's not right here. Like this situation, And I'm telling you this, and you know this if you're someone who actively dates. There's a difference between someone needing things to work out with you and someone just like wanting things to work out with you. Between someone who has a timeline in their head and someone who's, for lack of a better term, low-key just vibing. Chances are the timeline people gonna get ghosted, unfortunately for them. You gotta understand, most reasonable people, 95% of the people you meet romantically, you're gonna be generally not suspicious, but you're going to be cautious. You're going to be unsure of it. That's not to say you're unsure of whether or not you find this person attractive or anything, but I mean just unsure of like, oh, like, this is kind of a stranger. Would we actually work out? So it's like the more pressure that you put on a situation where it's like, oh, this needs to work out. Like, oh, like I just met you. I just slid into your DMs. Let's go out this weekend. Obviously, I'm not saying you can't find success with that, but I'm saying it lends you to put yourself in a position where you're kind of putting your neck out there. Okay, you're suffering. Like I've matched with women on dating apps, and they're like, "Oh, like let's go out and do this thing," and I'm like, "Whoa." Whoa. We have not even reached like 2-3 weeks of texting. Like, come on. It's the desperation that makes things much more difficult. Cause look, I may personally just be, a shy, mild mannered guy, but even in general, you're trying to push a square peg into a round hole a lot of the time. Look at it this way. There are 7 billion people on earth. Do you genuinely think you're going to be compatible with all of them? Like, do you? Because if so, that means you would have to be compatible with some children, you sicko. But seriously, like, do you think you'd be compatible with even most of them? Of course not. Okay, so the chances of a person being like the person for your future, a random person, the odds are, in general, very low. So when you're like, okay, we're gonna go on this date and see if something's there, you in your mind already want something to be there. And this is why when I talk to you as a manipulator and I really get into it, I'm like, yo, people want to be manipulated because they want this person to be the person of their dreams. Like, do you know why it's so easy to love bomb somebody? Because they want to believe someone feels that way about them. When I'm with your girl and I'm joking. I'm definitely not with you. I don't think I'm with your girl. But I'm with some woman, and I'm hitting her with a mwah, 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 and she's rocking with it. It's because that's what she wants. She wants a guy who's going to do that. She wants to believe that she's so irresistible to me that I can't help but give her all those smooches. She wants to believe that I literally just like can't stop cuddling with this woman. She wants to believe that we're like the same person, that we're so compatible, that we see the world the same way. It puts her in a spot where I can sell that fantasy, even if that fantasy isn't necessarily true. And it can be a problem for you in that way, making you, easily manipulated, but also it can be a problem in the way where two people who want that are going to create fake versions of each other in their head. And I guarantee you this happens because I feel like this happens to everybody. At some point in time, you've been with somebody, right? And like in your mind, you made a version of them where it's like, oh, like they're like this. They made a version of you where it's like, oh my gosh, they're like this. And it just doesn't end up working out because those versions of them in your head and in real life are not the same. I remember one time when that girl thought I cheated on her. Long story, a lot of you know it, but when that girl thought I cheated on her, my friend told me, he said, to get over it, she's gonna have to understand that the image of you that she had in her head wasn't real. And that like that version like died or whatever. You have to understand. And another thing I say, which I'm gonna expand on this point a little bit, but it's like when you're looking for a dynamic, right? When you're looking for like, I hate when people say I'm looking for a relationship. You know, I'm looking to find my future partner. You have to understand doing that, looking for a dynamic rather than looking for a connection is how you end up in a bad relationship. So that's what you do. Like you start building this person up where it's like, oh my gosh, you're so great. That's when you start, you know, there are little things about the person. Okay. Maybe, you know, when they wake up, you look at them, you're like, like, are they the most attractive to me? Do I feel like I can do better? You know, they have this little like tick, this little verbal thing, this little joke they say that's really not funny to you. Okay, this little thing they do that's just really annoying to you, but you're like, I can just skate on past it. It's like you shouldn't, right? Because in your mind, you want to spend the rest of your life with this person. Do you want them to have that annoying tick? Do you want them to have that sense of humor that you don't like? And that's something I learned by actively being in relationships, right? Now, I didn't really approach it the same way. Like I didn't enter the relationships out of desperation. It was more so out of, I felt like I had to, given like the situation leading up to it. Which in case you guys don't know, I was talking to two women non-monogamously, and then like they found out and they're like very like upset that I wasn't being monogamous with them. So then I basically had to pick one, and then that first one was bad. So then I picked the other. But in these situations, I learned a lot because I've always approached monogamous relationships from a level of seriousness. Now, mind you, again, I feel like when I talk about dating intentionally, when you're single, I think that's a bit oversold. However, of course, when you're in a relationship, a monogamous relationship, I think you should absolutely have that level of commitment to an extent, right? But it's like I'm in this long-term relationship and I'm like, there's just little things, you know what I mean? Like I remember I was dating this girl and I was complaining to one of my best friends about her, right? And she would do things that were just, she was kind of boneheaded a bit. And I've definitely mentioned this before, but like she couldn't spell or pronounce kiwi. Like one time she's like, oh, like I love like cooey. And I was like, what? Cooey? And she was like, yeah, like the green fruit. I was like, you mean kiwi? And she's like, oh, that's how it's pronounced? I was like, yeah, it's spelled Kiwi. And she was like, no, it's not. I had to send her a screenshot of the Wikipedia to kiwi so she knew that's how you spelled kiwi and pronounced it. And that's just like the most egregious example. That's something that will always stick with me, right? But it's like I told my best friend about that. And she was like, Bryce, are you prepared for that to be the mother of your children? And she would say that like about a lot of things. Cause like, again, like there would just be like boneheaded things or like just something stupid. Now, mind you, that was like harmless stupidity, but then like stupidity, like when you're fighting with something, like imagine what someone who can't say or like spell kiwi would say to you in a fight. Like imagine you're trying to like communicate like your side of things to someone who can't pronounce kiwi. You know what I mean? Like that's frustrating. But I would tell my best friend about it and she would be like, Bryce, the mother of your children. Like do you really like see your future with this person? And like, you know, at first like she would say that and I'd laugh like tee hee ha ha. But then it got to a point where I'm like, she's right. Like, why am I putting up with this nonsense? Like this thing that like I can't go on with it. And then like the other woman I was dating, like I kind of dealt with a situation where it was like she was kind of trying to like take over what I was doing content wise, make it like a partnered thing when like it's not a partnered thing, like it's my platform. I was talking to the same friend about that and she was like, Bryce, like, can you deal with that long term? Like, is that the kind of thing that you're gonna want to have to go through? Because the thing is, especially early on in relationships, those things, if they're not like nipped in the bud, they're only going to get worse. So like that first girl, it's not like she was going to get less stupid. And second girl, it's not like as my accounts grow that she's going to like kind of like take a back seat if she was already trying to entrench herself in it. But it's like in my mind, I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm in a relationship, like I'm trying to, you know, I'm looking to settle down. Let me try to look past these things in situations where I shouldn't have looked past them, right? So it's like, imagine you doing that for someone you recently like just met. Because the thing is, those people I had known for years in like year. Like I had known them for a long time. No, maybe I didn't know them that well the entire time, but like there was an established history, right? I'm saying that to say it makes even less sense. You just meet somebody. And again, this is me like putting words in your mouth, but the things I know, if you're the type to like date intentionally, I know you're doing this. You see something you don't like, whether it be something that's like kind of just frivolous, you know, like something where it's like not really that important in the grand scheme of things. And you're just like, I don't like this thing. Like maybe they do something like me, I have a lot of comics. Like I collect some comics. Like maybe someone's talking to me like, oh, like I don't want to end up with a guy who has a comic collection. And you know, that's fair for them. But that's how how you end up in situations. Like I remember there's this like viral story. This girl, like she threw away her husband's Pokemon cards, which were crazy, or she sold them or something. And then when he confronted her, she was like, oh, like you're a grown man, you don't need all that. When if she respected the hobby from the very beginning, she would never have done something like that. Like if you're the type of person where, again, you're trying to fit someone into a dynamic, you're trying to fit them into a shape that you've crafted in your life before you even met them, and you look past things, it's not going to look good for you. So it's like you looking for this dynamic, you looking for like this perfect person. In theory, it can happen. It's rare that a person's just going to come through and meet all those like goals that you just like made up in your head, but it can happen. Okay. But something you also need to understand is people change and evolve over time. So it's like, yes, I know it sounds like I'm encouraging you to cut those people off. Like, oh, like, you know, I'm not interested in this person because they have like this little thing, or, you know, they have like this much more serious thing that like I can't get past. But I think the problem is more so looking at it through the lens of this has to be a long-term thing. Like for me, it's much different because I prioritize when I'm dating people. I prioritize the connection with that person in particular. You know, like who are they? What can I get out of this? Like just from them, you know what I mean? And I don't mean like transactionally, like, oh, like, can I like derive resources from this person? I mean, just like emotionally, like, do we get along? You know, stuff like that, right? Like, what do we like to do? Like, how do we enjoy hanging out with each other? Like the same thing, like you think of like when you're looking for friendship, right? So it's like in my situations, I can find somebody, and it's like even if they are a little stupid, you know, if they do have a thing that's a little annoying about them, I can handle that because my expectations on them aren't I have to end up with this person. However, there are plenty of situations where over time, since I prioritize the connection itself leads to a situation where it's like, wait a minute, that thing that bothered me, it low-key doesn't bother me. You know what, that little thing right there is actually endearing because I never shunned myself from feeling how I felt about it when it originally took place. Like it's much better when it's something that just naturally happens rather than something you're forcing yourself to do. Because you hear about that all the time. It's a very real thing. Like, oh, I didn't like people who did this until I met this person. Oh, I didn't like this until I met this person. You know how many times, you know, I actually just dealt with this recently, bro. This young lady was like, I've never been like a pet name person. Like I never liked being called baby, but like when you do it, and I'm like, yeah, like I know because it's me. Guys, I'm so good at what I do, like when I tell you. But this is what I'm trying to put you onto though, genuinely. Like this is how it's done. 'Cause I know we're putting a lot of onus on this other person, how you feel about them, but the people also have to feel strongly towards you. I gotta tell you, desperation does not look good on anybody, right? So it's like when you're with somebody and you give them the vibe that like, hey, I just rock with you because I rock with you. I don't even have an ulterior motive for this. You know what I mean? Like there's no like me necessarily needing a relationship. That's why people get into situationships. That's why people end up with someone where it's like, oh, I want a relationship with them, but we're not in one for some reason. Because that person has expressed to them that they have feelings for them that don't need to be bound into a relationship. And that's why, bro, people don't talk about this enough, but going from a situationship to a relationship rarely actually works. And when I say situationship, right now I'm defining it as like one-sided, like, oh, someone wants a relationship, they're feeding for it, and then the other person like finally caves and gives it to them, you know? But like before it was kind of like one person didn't want one person did. Because my thing is, when I'm in a situationship or when I'm just in a non-monogamous thing with somebody, I don't have expectations. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why things work. It's like, people come around me and sorry, people always say I'm like glazing, not to suck my own meat. Okay. I'm not, it's not the attempt, but it's like, I feel like when people are around me, you know, when I'm romantically involved with them, they don't feel pressure to be any sort of way, to do any sort of thing, because I just appreciate them as they are. Like we talk, you know, I listen to what they have to say. I say some things in return. You know, I'm like, yo, like you're so goated, like you're cool, blah, 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 blah. Even like when nothing's happening, you know, like we're texting, you know, they don't get back to me for a while. They're, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I was busy, da, da, da. I'm like, don't mention it. It's completely fine. They say something offhanded to me and I'm like, oh, like, you know, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. But in a relationship, on the other hand, I'm going to be like, hey, what made you say that to me? Hey. Now I haven't came across this situation, thankfully, but like if I was in a situation where it was like, hey, you haven't texted me for a bit, like a couple days, like what's that all about? You know, like my standards get raised a bit, not from the lens of like I need them to be more than what they are, just from like the lens of like, hey, I want to make sure I'm being respected. You know, I simply expect a shift, like a small shift, but a shift, because I also shift my behavior. And the thing is, I don't feel like that's the same as trying to like shoehorn someone into a dynamic that you have in your mind. It just makes sense, me going from a point where, you know, you're on the roster and I'm talking to a bunch of people versus a point where, hey, this is just me and you. We are looking to, you know, build the future, so to speak. And I feel like that makes sense. I feel like a lot of you would probably understand that concept too. But unfortunately, not everyone's like that. Okay. And that's also where another problem can come in. You do need to have those expectations clear. Because I'm not of the belief where it's like, because I know there are a bunch of people who are like, oh, like if someone sleeps around, don't date them because they're going to sleep around while you're dating. I feel like plenty of people know when to stop, of course, doing shit like that, because that's the most extreme option. But I will say, before you enter a monogamous union, I feel like you have to have a conversation about what does change. Because things I understand, like someone could be trying to find a hole in my logic and be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. If you're talking to someone for so long, even it's like not a monogamous thing, how do you make that shift? If that's something both parties truly want, there has to be communication there. Because think about it, I get into a fight with just a simple talking stage, I can ghost them for 3 to 4 days, and then like we both cool off, and then like we're back into the thick of it. In a relationship, that's not a good idea. But the thing is, if you start off with that energy, it can be very polarizing. Like you get into it with someone you just met, and it's like, why are we talking this out right now? I barely know you. But I feel like as time goes on and there's less set pressure to do it, you naturally kind of want to work those things out. However, I think my main point in saying this is you have to acknowledge there is a key. Like the problem with situationships into relationships is there are some people that don't understand that there are key differences between them. Or if they think about the key differences, they're not thinking about all of them and just some. Like I was with women where they were like, oh my gosh, me and him are going to get into a relationship, and that just means he's not going to sleep with other people. Yay. And like they thought that was it. When in reality, it's like, okay, now I'm going to have to be more careful about how I talk to him. When he says things, I'm really going to have to listen. And I don't mean listen as in like I'm like telling them to do things, but I mean I'm as far as like me like sharing my feelings and stuff like that. And the thing is, I do the same thing in return. Of course, like their feelings at that point have to matter a bit more to me. So that's another aspect. It's like people conflate these aspects of non-monogamy to monogamy. So it's like in the short term, you can alienate this person you're talking to by treating them like you're in a relationship, even though you just met them. And it's like I see posts all the time where it's like, oh, when we start talking, you better have all your hoes cut off by tonight. And those posts are jokes, but like they're jokes that people mean. Like, there are people who genuinely don't want you talking to anyone else when you're talking to them. I've seen it. They're like, oh, like if you're like texting me, you can't entertain other people. And it's like, what do you mean? Like at what point does that happen? And I'll get more to that in a second, but what I was saying is you can alienate people by treating them relationshipy too early. Also talking to someone and thinking that it's the same as being in a monogamous relationship. And then you actually get to that point with somebody, you're going to have to understand that things will have to change, and they're going to have to understand that things will have to change. And that's why I've never understood when people claim they don't understand why someone doesn't want to be in a relationship, but they're completely fine with like just talking to a person. Just being in a relationship puts so much pressure on the situation. Same thing with marriage compared to being in a relationship. Because think about marriage, like, oh, you don't just cheat. You have an affair. You can't just break up. You have to get divorced. And then you can do that with relationships and being single, essentially. Like, oh, like talking stage, stop talking. We just stop talking. That's what you call it. But then if you're in a relationship, that's you breaking up. There's so much more weight to it. So when you conflate the two, like I'm saying, you can either come off with like too much relationship energy to a person where it's like, oh, we met. Like, why are they on this? Or you come with not enough relationship energy and then don't understand the things that you actually have to do to be in a relationship. Like the amount of women I've met in my life where they're like, oh, like I'm a relationship person, like I don't do casual, but they are not at all ready for a relationship. I mean, like they talk to a guy and then basically act like, oh, yep, that's my husband. Like I have to date this guy. They actually don't know how to treat, and this is not like a men-women thing. Like men definitely do the same thing, but I'm just saying like they don't know how to treat that person. Like both parties, you and them, are gonna have to acknowledge that there's gonna be a shift. But more on those people where they're like, oh, like if we just start talking, you can't talk to anybody else. That is the most ridiculous frame of logic I can think of. Like if you are in a situation where you're forcing people to choose you from the jump, and then your dating life isn't going successfully, I wonder why. Because tell me why. When I hear that from people, 90% of the time it's someone who's single. Oh, yep, we start talking, it's just got to be me. Like I've heard it before, but I've rarely heard a situation where, oh, yep, you just got to be talking to me. I don't do casual like talking to someone. I don't do talking stages. I've heard it very few times from someone in a relationship. Because you understand, when you do that, you're not actually giving someone an opportunity to choose you. Now, I know people are like, oh, like, I don't want to be a choice. If you have to choose between people, don't choose me. It's not even like that in a disrespectful sense. Because I feel like a lot of you look at it through the mindset of, oh my gosh, me and this other guy, me and this other girl are on the same level playing field, when you actually aren't. Like when I was in that situation where I had to pick between those two women, there was one woman I knew for 4 years. Right? Even though I didn't talk to her consistently throughout those 4 years, but I knew her for 4 years. So I was like, okay, there's more of an established base here versus the woman I knew for half a year. So you yourself could be in a situation, you slide into someone's DMs, you start talking a bit, like talking for a couple of weeks, and you're like, oh, they're talking to other people. You don't know if they've been talking to someone for a year. You don't know if they've been talking to someone for 2 years. Like I touched on this in my Nobody Owes You Anything video, but you have to understand, you're putting too much pressure on real people, because I find it hard to believe that, hey, you start talking to this person. If you're the kind of person to talk to multiple people, you start talking to somebody and then someone else signs your DMs, that you would instantly choose them. I don't think that's realistic, because even through all metrics, that can be a better person for you. I remember I was in a different situation. I was talking to this young lady for, again, like half a year. Different young lady, but also half a year. And then this one woman slid into my DMs. I'm talking to her. I think she's more attractive. We're getting along like about things that like usually I don't get along with people with. Like we're talking about music. She seemed great, but I wasn't going to cut off the woman I was talking to at that point for this woman because we just met. And I'm saying that through the lens of like, it sounds corny, but yes, that's risky. Like, imagine I'm talking to her. Like, yes, we listen to the same music artist. That's great. Yes, she's gorgeous. Like all this stuff, right? I go there. Imagine that's all we have. You know what I mean? Like that just instant, because we've had, again, if you actively date, you've had those moments where you meet someone, you get along about everything, and then like couple weeks in, it's like, oh wait, we actually aren't as similar as I thought. You have to give people an opportunity, and you should give yourself the opportunity, right? And they should give you the opportunity to get to know the person before you choose them. Like again, I've had women where, we start talking, like we meet each other for the first time, and then like a couple weeks later, it's like, oh, like I don't want to talk to anyone besides you. And it's like, you don't know me, really. You know what I mean? Like you have no reason to be choosing me right now. You're putting yourself in a situation where it's me or bust, and that's not fair to you. And it's not fair to me, because now mentally I have to be like, okay, this person's only talking to me, so I just feel pressured to show them a certain level of respect, when in reality that's not my problem. And this is why, and I don't have I not made the roster video yet, but this is why I encourage people to have roster. You can focus on your individual connections, and you put less pressure on each person and less pressure on yourself. I'll never forget, I was linking up with this young lady, right? It was one time I was in New York, and basically me and her, we went on a few dates, we slept together. Bro, dude, her stuff was crazy. When I tell you, oh, okay, this, I might have to touch on this in the best sloppy I've ever gotten video. Might be top 5, might be top 3. Haven't decided on it yet. But she gave me sloppy that was so crazy that like afterwards, we were trying to put the protection on my meat. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it because it was too sloppy. It kept slipping all over the place, dude. She had been celibate for like a year apparently, so we just kind of risked it. Ugh, bro, I love the fake celibacy. I eat it up. But no, I'm not gonna lie, I love it, because it's like, but the thing is, she did the same thing. You know what I mean? Because again, she was celibate for however long, and then she came across me, because again, some people are just charismatic. In dating, like that's what happens. She chose me. I was the chosen one for no reason. We had been on, I think, 1-2 dates before that point, and you're ready to bust it open for me. Like you're ready. You're ready to open it up for me after you've taken this vow of celibacy. But anyways, crazy sloppy. And a little bit later, I was going through a lot in New York, because basically I had been staying in New York for like a very long time. And basically like I was sleeping on my friend's couch, right? But then his roommate eventually was like, yo, Bryce has been here for a grip, man. Like, I think it may be time. And I was going through a lot back in Pennsylvania, and my friend knew this, and I knew this. Like, we both knew, like, obviously I wasn't gonna stay there forever. So we all talked about it. Everything was cool. I was heading back as quick as possible, right? So it was kind of like, and I think it was like just like a couple days after that point, right? So I'm stressed, okay? I'm like, I have to get everything together before this point. And I think the young lady, she had texted me that like she wanted to link up. But again, I had to worry about everything that was happening, like getting my stuff together. I'm about to leave. And basically I ended up texting her. I was like, yo, like I'm kind of like in this like hectic situation right now. I'm gonna have to go soon, da da da. And she was upset with me for not returning her text. And again, it's like we had been on 3 dates. 3 dates, and I feel like this is a very proper reason. Like I'm literally gonna have to geographically go from location to location. And it's like I explained to her, like, yeah, like I'm in this stressful situation, da 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 da. And she's trying to have like this big, long like she sent me like a paragraph about how she felt about the situation. I'm like, shawty, I'm not reading all that. Like I had to ghost her at that point, and she was actually really cool. I liked her. Again, sloppy was crazy because again, she met me, she liked me, and she decided to put that pressure on me. And it's like, if she didn't do that, who knows where the situation could have gone to? Like, because again, there was nothing really like about her where I was like, oh, can't do it. But it's like, you never know what someone's going through, okay? And it's like, also, like at that time, obviously, I'm very mentally ill. I was like going through like a depressive episode too. So it's like, I'm not gonna necessarily open up to you about the depressive episode because again, we did just meet. So it's like, you don't know what these people are going, like someone didn't text you back in a certain amount of time. You don't know what could be happening with them. Like, this isn't someone that you're dating. And this isn't just me, like, this isn't just, avoidant man final boss. Like, this is genuinely, if you put too much pressure on somebody from the get-go, it's going to push them away. And this is not me telling you to fake being nonchalant. You can express that you care about someone. You can say, oh, like, I miss you. I hope to see you again soon. All that. But when you first start talking to someone and you instantly just give them everything you have, it is alienating. And it's like, I know for a fact y'all do this. And you know how I know a lot of you do this? Because when I've made videos about, like, hey, someone doesn't text you back, don't worry, it doesn't mean the situation's over. You know, they, like, you follow them on IG, that, like, they don't text you back, or like your mutuals on IG, they don't text you back, you'll be completely fine. There are people who say they block people for not responding. And I've been blocked for, like, not responding in time. I'll never forget, bro, this young lady, okay, met her at a Halloween party. Oh man, it went crazy. I mentioned the story in passing before. Basically, I pulled up, right? I was with my friend, I was with, like, mutual friends, and apparently there are people there who had seen me on TikTok, but, like, never met me in person, right? And obviously, a lot of my persona, especially on TikTok, is about dating. So it's like, I kind of, when people see me, I have to put up or shut up. Like, oh, like, does he really get hoes, or is he just talking? Walked in the function with them. Now, mind you, also, at the time, I was a hired gun, okay? I was a bit of a mercenary. They were trying to get me to sleep with this one woman in particular. She hadn't gotten any in a while, wanted me to knock her cobwebs loose. Like, because apparently she was telling her friends, like, I got cobwebs up there. And it's like, oh, okay. They're like, please, Bryce, we need you to sleep with her. And I'm like, okay, bet I can get that job done. But the thing is, she wanted me to, like, pursue, bro. Okay, look, this is not on topic of the video, but, like, she wanted me to, like, pursue her. Like, sure, we can have a little combo, we can get to know each other a little bit, but, like, she wanted me to, like, take lead on that. And it's like, bro, that's just not my personality. Like, I'm a cutie, okay, I'm a handsome man, like, I'm a bit of a diva. Just can't. I'm not in, like, an annoying way, but, like, you're gonna have to put in a little initiative if you want to talk to me. Like, I can't take the lead, especially in an event where something leads to us doing things in the bedroom. Because, like, I never the guy to bring up sleeping with a woman, like, to her, because that's just weird. I don't want to risk coming off as, like, a stereotypical lustful man, right? So, and the thing is, in my mind, which it probably is like this objectively, but I'm just gonna say, in my mind, I'm like, Char's gotta meet me halfway, right? Like, I'm gonna put myself in position, like, you know, I might be like, hey, like, how are you, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not gonna carry, okay? I can't do it all. You know, like, I'm not gonna go out of my way, like, you know, we're at the function, like, you're over there, you're talking. I'm not gonna, like, hey, let me pull you aside, talk to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't put the moves on you unless I feel like I'm in a situation to put the moves on you. So it's like, yeah, you know, meet me halfway if this is what we're gonna do. And they tried to tell her, they're like, yo, like, Bryce, he's not like those other guys. Like, you're gonna have to meet him halfway. And she's like, no, like, if he really wanted me, it'll be da da da. Now, mind you, I didn't, like, really want her. They were just like, Bryce, we need you to sleep with her. I'm like, okay. And, like, they're like, she wasn't like, she looked good, but it's like, would never be something that I would go out of my way to do. Like, if it wasn't something that was thrusted upon, like, if I just met her, I wouldn't be trying to sleep with her. But a situation where they brought her up, I'm like, okay, like, let me get in there. So anyways, she's at this function, right? And they're like, okay, Bryce, this is the night you and Shawty, y'all, it's gonna be a thing, right? You're both at the same function, perfect opportunity for y'all to have a little situation and then get going. And again, like I said, I'm gonna wait for a natural time to speak to you. Maybe, you know, you're staying by yourself. Hey, like, how have you been? You know what I mean? We're both in the same area. I engage you in conversation. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm willing to do, you know, at this point. Something I respond to, though, is initiative, which, you know, naturally, I feel like the problem is most people respond to initiative, like, when it comes to, like, first meeting somebody, but some people, like, don't want to give it out and then complain about it. Like, I know I in particular am not a big pursuer, right? Like, that's not really something I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna show too much initiative. I'm also not going to complain when other people don't. You know what I mean? But that was that one girl I was supposed to sleep with, like, they had it all organized. I was a hired gun. She was literally complaining to them, like, oh my gosh, like, he's not coming up to me, he's not talking to me, da da da. But me, I'm like, okay, she's not coming up, she's not saying anything. It's whatever. I'm just gonna try to have a good time. So I'm at the punch bowl, right? Which, yeah, I think the punch had alcohol in it. But anyways, you know, I'm getting myself a drink, and then, like, there are these other women around, like, we're talking, and then this woman walks up, bro. She was so bad, dog. Ridiculously bad. And she's holding this bottle, right? And she's like, you want some? And I'm like, yeah. She goes to pour it in my mouth. She pours it in my mouth. It's some strong stuff. I don't know. I think I either say something or I, like, gesture. I'm like, oh man, like, this is some strong stuff. And she's like, oh really? Like, I haven't tried it. I'm like, you haven't tried it either? That's crazy. Like, how are you gonna have me try something that you haven't tried? So then I poured it in her mouth. It's very suggestive. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I've my penis. So anyways, me and her start talking. We're yapping. We're chopping it up. Next thing you know, we're getting a little closer to one another. And mind you, this is within, like, 15 to 30 minutes of being at the party. And we're in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen, right? I'm leaning against one of the counters, right? I'm leaning backwards. My back still hurts, by the way. I got my legs, like, kind of open, right? So actually, I don't remember if I was sitting on the counter or if I was leaning back on it. But anyways, my legs were kind of open, right? She's in between them, leaning forward, talking to me. And my friend, luckily, he had learned his lesson because weeks ago, me and him had went to this function, right? It was actually a club. And long story, dude, it was crazy how we got into the club because neither of us were dressed for it. Like people in here were wearing suits, we were wearing jeans and a t-shirt. But we had like this woman with us, she helped us get in. I'm talking to this young lady, right? Like we're out here, bro. We're on the couch, like we're chatting. It was very funny. This guy, he saw me and my friend dancing, and he was like, yo, like I've been seeing y'all dance, bro. Like come to my section. And things I thought this guy was like hitting on us or something. So then we came to a section, he got us drinks, and then he brought these women. And then like, I'm talking to him, we're going back and forth. And me and her, like, let's just say we're kind of like locked in right now. Like locked in. Like, when you lock in with someone at the function or the club where it's like, yeah, like we're most likely gonna leave at the same time, if you catch my drift. And then my friend's like, yo, bro, like we gotta go. Like there's another function. I'm like, because I'm sitting with Shorty, right? Like we're kind of like close. And I'm like, bro, like you sure? He's like, yeah, bro, like we got to get out. And I'm like, oh dang, like I get the information. I'm like, okay, like I'll see what you're up to later. I leave with my friend, and he's like, yeah, I don't really know where we're going. Like it might be closing, but like let's just go. And I'm like, what? We get there and it is closing. They're not letting people in. And I'm like, dude, I was locked in. I was like, how are you gonna take? I'm like, I understand if you want to go through the unknown. How are you gonna take me with you? Like, you cost me some valuable cheeks, bro. Like me and him, we had to fight. We had a little beef over that, man. Like that was a very because America. Is that not crazy? C blocking? Is that not insane? And she was bad too, bro. Dude, oh man, I can't even tell you where she worked, but bro, I'm just gonna say she worked with an NBA team. So she was kind of clouded up in her way. But anyways, we talked about it, and he was like, okay, man, I'll work on that. Like I forgot what kind of conclusion we came to. I don't know if we had like a plan for something like that happen in the future, but like he just said like he took accountability. So basically now I'm at the Halloween party with Shorty, right? And again, I'm leaning back on the counter, I'm talking to her, we're like this close, just having a little conversation. Mind you, we're having like a real, like, when you're just having like little, like nothing, we're having a real conversation. Like we're talking about our families, like our situations, like in our relative colleges that we're at. Oh my gosh. And this was happening at the same time where me and the other girl slept together. She gave me the crazy sloppy, and then like she ended up texting me, and I was like, oh no, I gotta go. It was around the same time. But obviously this was before that, and I'm gonna explain, it's all gonna like tie in. Basically this time, okay, getting me and young lady talking, we're very close. My friend, he knows, he's like, yo, bro, like we're gonna dip. You know what I mean? Like, which is, it gives me an opportunity to come with him if I am coming with him, but I'm not coming with him, right? Because I'm with Shorty. And I turned to him and I was like, because I had, this is what my friend calls it, my Mr. Bitches voice, or me activating nigga mode, which here's the thing. Because the thing is, everyone knows about me. I kind of have more of an effeminate tone. I'm much more of a feminine speaking man. However, a woman that I have interest in, we're talking. I'm gonna deepen it up a bit, okay? So I'm talking to her. I'm probably sounding something a bit closer to this than I am, my regular, like how I'm speaking to you right now. But the thing is, in that moment, I can't really turn it off. So I turned to him. I'm like, all right, bro, I'll see you. And later he told me, he's like, bro, I had never heard your voice that deep in my entire life. And it's funny, bro, because it's like the same as like an erection, but like with my vocal cords. So it's like, depending on like how attractive the woman I am talking to, it's like the deeper my voice gets. But anyways, they dip, right? So me and young lady are talking. I don't know if the party was ending or if we just decided to dip. We're dipping. We're going back to her place. And it's funny, when we were walking back to her place, we came across my friends who had just left. And when I was there, I was giving them the signal, which, can I show y'all what the signal is? I low-key can't because I'm too tall, but basically it's like this. I'm doing crossovers, but between the legs, that's the signal, shots going in. So they're like, we're talking, because I'm trying to think. It was like kind of a big crossover. So, I think I remember there was other people with me and Shorty too. Because I was wondering why there was so much of a conversation. But anyways, I'm doing all this, right? And you're like, oh man, you're scaring the host. What are you doing? Nah, bro, she was fucking with it, bro. Like sometimes in the moment with someone, you can be doing something weird and they're fucking with it, man. Like they're eating that shit up. So basically that ended. And I think she was like, we have to go get condoms. I was like, I got them on me. So then had them on me. And then we slept together, right? And at some point, the condom came off. I don't remember how exactly. Now, I will say, during this time period, I was getting tested left and right. Because I know you're hearing multiple stories about me, like, sleeping with these people. I was getting tested left and right. Before and after, okay? So we're in the clear. And I remember, I was going to town. Bro, her bed, like, was falling out. Like, her mattress was, like shifting. Like, it was, like, I was putting in some work, man. But mind you, I'm so sauced at this point, bro. And, bro, she was such a pro. I'm sauced, so I'm smashing, right? And I'm kind of losing it a bit. Kind of, when that happens, like when you're a bit too sauced and you're like, oh shoot, I'm getting ready to be like, oh man, I'm cooked. She instantly, like, takes it out, starts slopping it up, going ham, gets me activated again, and then I'm going back in. And then eventually we keep doing it, and eventually I tell her, I'm like, yo, I'm getting close. And she looks me in my eyes and she says, I'm on birth control. And I was like, bet. Ah, and I finished inside her. I finished inside her. My my semen had entered her. My soldiers were storming the beach. The turkey was being put in the oven. The swimmers were diving in the pool. My little Michael Phelpses were hitting that butterfly stroke. Operation fertilization, but not fertilization, because I didn't want to get her pregnant. But Operation fertilization was a go. Bro, they were in there like this. I know for a fact they were in there like, oh yeah, let's go, let's get her pregnant, let's go, let's go, let's go. But they didn't stand a chance, okay, against the birth control monsters. Like they were going in there, they were swimming. They're like, no, like, oh, like man, we're so outnumbered. Like what's going on? Like see, this is them like dodging like the little like birth control bullets. So like this, they're like, oh no, what? I didn't know it was gonna be like this. Why would he send it in here? Bow, like they're falling left and right. And look, they're putting up a fight because I got some strong swimmers. They're taking some of the birth control monsters, be like, pow, boom, slamming them, pow, 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 and then like they're like sacrificing themselves. They're like, go, I'll take this one, go, and then, ooh, wait. It's like The Long Walk, bro. Y'all seen The Long Walk? I'm not gonna spoil it. Great movie. Very sad. Made me sad for days. They're here like making friendships, like they're bonding, but they know it can only be one max. And then they're falling by the wayside. They're like, no, like how could this happen? There's one like underdog like sperm cell, and they're like, oh man, like come on, bro, we gotta protect them, but they simply can't. Birth control monster from behind, boom, bam, bam. They thought they were protecting because basically they were locking in from the front, right? Because they're watching from birth control monsters like this, but they didn't know a birth control monster was going around, and then boom from the back. You know what I mean? Like that snapping the underdog's neck. Someone's like, no, they're trying to go back to save it. Doesn't work, bro. They get clapped too. And eventually it's down to the final two. And they're like these. They're like, okay, it's us versus all these little birth control demons, dog. It's not looking good for us. But we're gonna go out swinging. They go to fight. Boom, boom. It's a valiant effort. But they stand no chance, bro. Birth control. That's birth control. So yeah, that's what was going on inside of her. And yeah, it was super cool. And then I think, because I couldn't get home that night because I think it was too late. My friend had fallen asleep. So then I went back the next morning. And ironically enough, she didn't text me for like, I don't know. It was, okay, it probably wasn't. It was probably like a day or something. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'm busy. Like, I kind of wanted you to come over, like, again, da, 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 da. And I'm like, bet, okay. But again, I was going through that whole situation with, I eventually had, dang, dude, I was going off during that time period. But basically, oh man, there was more to tell you. Basically, the girl at that party, remember, I was supposed to sleep with her. Like, they were hiring me to sleep with her. She was mad, bro. She was peeved. She was completely done with. She was like, you know what? I don't even want him anymore. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. Dude who saw me from my content, who was there, he said, and I quote, this is not me saying it, he said, Bryce made short work of that bitch. One of my favorite sentences I've ever heard about myself. That's probably, it's top two. The other one is, I remember I was in high school and I was talking to this young lady, right? I'm very woman centered. You guys know this. So I was talking to this young lady, right? And basically I had to get to practice before it was too late. Like I wasn't running late, but like, you know, you had to go to practice. You have to get ready. So, you know, I'm talking to her a bit. And then one of my teammates is like, Bryce, we gotta go. Like, you know, he's trying to mess with me a little bit, right? So then I grab her hand, pull her in, we smooch. And then they're like, oh, Bryce out here kissing bitches. I've been chasing that high ever since, bro. And that right there, that was the closest I've gotten. Like Bryce made short work of that B word might be better. It might be better. So now I'm chasing that moment, okay? And it's not, like, I feel like it's gonna sound like it's the male approval. It's not the male approval, trust. It's the overall vibe, like, ooh. And see, another thing that's on the same level is I remember I was talking to this, I was talking to this woman, right? And me and her, we had like kind of been a thing, but then we were like more friends at a point. I was telling her about like my dating problems. Back when I was in the girl number one, girl number two situation, how I've ruined two women's perception of love, like that long video. If you don't know, you can go and watch it. It's one of my videos. I was explaining to her like what was going on, right? And then she was like, okay, so like who are these women? Like what do they look like? You know, she's just curious. So I show her and she was like, oh, like you really get baddies. And I'm like, yeah, like this is what I do. And she's like, yeah, like I feel like a lot of guys like, you know, talking about like having a roster or having hoes, but like, you know, they're just kind of getting like mid like looking women, but like you, like man, like you get some good looking ones. And I'm like, exactly. 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 Put respect on my name. I'm tired of this shit, nigga. Like, people acting like I don't know what I'm doing. I still remember, bro, when people saw my, like, people when people saw Either X, they were like, whoa, I didn't know you were doing it like that. Of course I am. Of course I am. Oh, I didn't know you were doing all this with baddies. I thought you were just doing this with mid-white women. Hell no, nigga. Like, are you serious, bro? Like, I do this shit, bro. Like, I'm autistic and my hyperfixation is the limerent stage. Like, are we serious? Hyperfixation is women, bro. Romantic, romantic dynamics every time. I'm not gonna be out here talking. I'm not gonna be out here like yapping my gums, bumping them, straight bumping gums. If I can't back it up. And I know, and the things, because I know there are people like that. I will never forget. I'm never gonna say this creator's name, okay? But I saw a creator used to make dating content. Content went downhill when he was like, he got in a relationship, he was like, this is my girl, and people were like, this who is who we're going with? Because she did not live up to the hype of what he was talking about. I've seen it happen twice, bro. Twice. And I know this, okay? Like, I know, like, I've made sacrifices for this, dog. Like, I know for a fact, if I ever were to pop out with a white woman who is not a top 10 looking white woman you've seen in your life, I'd be cooked. Career over. That's why even some, like, I'll have good looking people, right? Where I'm like, okay, yeah, you look good. But, like, you know, you may not be past their level. If it's simply a good looking white woman, I can't do it. I can't do it because I know how y'all get, bro. That's the sacrifice I'm willing to make for you, the audience, for you to understand what I'm about. Like, y'all sitting here thinking I'm bumping gums just to bump gums. Like, nigga, girl who pooped on me, she was bad as shit. No pun intended. She looked crazy good. Like, if some of y'all would pay for the opportunity to get pooped on by her. I know it to be true. When I tell you, bro, I've ghosted women. I've ghosted individuals. I've been uneasy about individuals in my head. I've been like, I don't know. Individuals where you'd be like, Bryce, what are you doing? Like, Bryce, get with her. Like, what? And I'd be like, no, it's not enough for me. For me. And look, if you want to get subjective on me, be like, oh, you know what, Bryce, I don't think they were that bad. I don't think so and so looked that good, bro. I'll tell you. You can have that opinion. The masses would disagree. My scouting, unmatched. Unmatched, dog. Like, when I tell you I be inside of vaginas that you couldn't even fathom, that's what I mean. Like, I post stuff like that all the time. I'm like, y'all couldn't even fathom it. That's what I'm talking about, bro. And does that mean I'm batting 100%? No. I'll get a 6 occasionally, and I don't mind it. I have no shame in that. I'll have someone who's a bit above average in the roster, but their role will be minimized, okay? A role player, that's important. Every team needs good role players. Hey, bro, my dating apps, I have not checked them in a grip because I've been doing regular stuff, you know, with the people who made it outside the dating apps. If I showed you who I haven't texted back in these dating apps, if you witness that, you would find it absurd, okay? And I mean baddies of all different creeds, okay? That sometimes make the cut, but not a cut that you would think they would make. Sometimes they don't make the cut. Got some basic ones, got some alt ones, got some hippie ones, got some content star ones. You know what I mean? Got some slutty ones, nigga. Got some dirty ones, got some messy ones, got some straight out the trenches ones, dog. Do you understand? Got some born with a silver spoon in the mouth ones. This is versatility that you haven't seen from the game. Versatility. You're yet to witness. Versatility that may be yet to be matched. So all I ask for is my respect. So yeah, basically anyone telling me that I pull baddies is also like top 10 in things I've heard about myself. But also, something you gotta be careful of with a lot of baddies, dog. And this is kind of like weird, but like teeth. You gotta watch for teeth. I said that. What reminded me is I was watching that last clip back because I thought it was funny. But like I was looking at my teeth, like my bottom set kind of a bit like messed up. But There are some people out there, all their teeth are messed up. Gotta be careful, because, bro, sometimes it'd be like the baddest thing you've seen in your life, and then you look at the teeth and you're like, it's completely shocked. It's kind of horrible. And I don't know what because I feel like it's more likely that I even see like unattractive people with like just like teeth that are like fine. You know what I mean? Like teeth that are normal. But then I'll see a baddie with like really bad teeth. And then it just puts me in a situation. I'm like, bro, is it worth the teeth? But yeah, top thing I heard about myself. But yeah, the girl I slept with at the Halloween party. It ended up being that situation where, again, I was like, had a very stressful week, blah, 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 blah. Like I kind of like spun the block after she had texted me. And then I was blocked. I was blocked for what I presumed to be not texting her fast enough. Like, you know how crazy that is, bro? Like, imagine what me and her could have been. All right, if she just had a little bit of patience. You got to be patient with these people that, mind you, you just met. I'm sure she probably thought like I was hitting and quitting, which I would never do that, okay? You got to understand, if I hit it and it was bad, I would still hit it again. Like, because I'm a real I'm a real player in the game. I do it for the vibes, bro. Like, I don't even do it for how it feels. Like, I be sleeping with women for the aesthetic, for real, okay? But she didn't know that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on. Like, you got to put some form of trust in these people. And not trust in the sense where you trust them. That would also be a problem. But I mean in the sense where it's like, they don't know you. Like, hey, just because they're not talking to you doesn't mean they hate you, doesn't mean they don't respect you as a human being. It means perhaps you're not at a level where I am updating you through my stressful week. And also, what you got to understand is, I feel like part of it is her not believing where, I mean, actually, when I texted her, I was already blocked. But it's like, even if I came back and said I had a stressful week, she might not even believe that. And it's like, generally, what reason do you have to not believe me? You know what I mean? And also, at that point, you're so early on with someone, even if you don't believe them, you think they're lying about being busy, doesn't matter. They don't know you. And again, this is just something I hate about the fake celibacy warriors is they put so much into, oh, I'm going to be celibate right now. And then, you know, they're like, okay, I'm going to sleep with this guy or girl that like, I'm like, okay, this is the guy, this is the girl. Here's the thing. When they meet that person, do they make that person wait for like a month, 2 months, 3 months? No, they give it up pretty fast. That girl I was talking about who gave me the crazy sloppy, the first date me and her went on, had a meal, some drinks came with the meal, great time. I'm looking at her and she's like, oh, I gotta go. Like, she's like, I can't keep looking at you like that. Like, you got me thinking bad things. That was on the first link. The first, people hate when I say the word link when it's a date. That was on the first date, dog. What could I possibly have said to her in the first date that would lead her to believe that I was worthy of like taking her celibacy away? And that's also another problem that keeps people single. They like somebody too much immediately. Like, they don't like someone a normal amount. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I start talking to someone, right? If they don't like me a normal amount from the jump, I'm instantly skeptical. It's because it's like, bro, like, you don't seem stable. And yes, I'm a love bomber, so sometimes it's like I can lead you to like catch feelings, which catching feelings is fine. You can have feelings for someone very fast. Like, even just recently, like, I linked with this young lady and like we linked for the first time. I was like, oh my gosh, like she's kind of goated. Like, I hope we get to link again soon. Like, you know, I think about her a couple times a day, you know, be excited when I texted her. But you know what I wasn't doing? I wasn't forcing us to link every day. I was not like, oh my gosh, she hasn't texted me in a bit. Like, what's she doing? I don't know. Da, da, da. Oh my gosh, is she talking to other people? Da, da, da. Because I don't care about all that. Okay, I liked her a reasonable amount, and then it's like from there point on, subsequent links, and that feeling grows. And also, the great part about that is it seemed like she liked me a normal amount too. Like, we're talking, we're like, oh, like we should hang out soon. All right, bet, great. So then it's like, you know, link up a few more times, put in the work, and then that's when it can grow into a thing where it's far more sturdy of a like. You can say more out the box things, and it will all come off as natural because as opposed, because I'm not gonna, I don't know how other people's dating life works, but for me, traditionally, for the most part, it's a bunch of people either liking me too much or not enough. You know what I mean? And like, it'll be like, okay, we're talking for a bit, nothing really materializes, or they like me too much. And that's just, that's how things tend to be for the most part. It's very rare there'll be a situation like I described to you where, you know, we have that first link and it's not instantly I can tell, okay, things are moving too fast. But in that event, like, because I'm telling you not to like put too much into people too early, in that event where people do take things too fast, even if I really like them, even if I'm like, everything's great, I'm like, oh, something's wrong. Okay, like there's something happening here where they like me too much. They're either just this desperate for anything to happen. Because through another lens of like seeking, like when I told you desperation, like seeking out a relationship, like, oh, I need it so bad. You meet someone who's like decent, like okay, like because I think I'm a decent guy, like I'm a nice guy. Again, handsome, tall, athletic. Like like you meet someone who's a decent guy, but it's like you gotta get to know anyone more before you can really be like, okay, like this is the guy. But it's like you meet me once and you're like, oh, this is the guy. I'm like, oh, they've been looking for the guy. And again, that's why I tell you guys, manipulation is so easy because people want you to be the person that like completely changes everything for them. When really, and that includes a lot of you. So what you have to actually do is just seek out that person for who they are. Like when you meet someone, just get to know them. You know what I mean? Like, don't have this thing where it's like, oh my gosh, like don't sit around fantasizing, daydreaming about them. Be like, okay, this is who they are. I'm getting to know them. Oh, this is super cool. Oh, this is maybe less cool. Like, don't try to fit them into the box of being your future partner. And look, I know because there are a bunch of people who are like, oh, like you have to date to marry, and you have to talk to people to date. Like you have to talk to people with the option of dating in mind. I genuinely don't think that's true. I think you should have your connection with that person, the concept of maxing it out. Now, whatever maxing it out means, and that has to happen naturally. There are some people where you talk to them, and the max the relationship can go is okay. We're friends. Maybe there's a little bit of a flirty thing there, but it doesn't seem like it's getting past that point. And when you can accept that, you'll find that those situations are elite. Like there are people where me and them never gonna link up. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna slide up on each other's stories and say something flirtatious and then go. Could that change between me and that person? Absolutely. Like imagine like it's a situation where it's like, wait, are we gonna be in the same place at the same time? Oh, let's link up. Oh, you wanna see this movie? Oh, like let's see it together, bet. And then things could grow from there. But does it have to change? Does it have to be like that? No. But it's like think about that from the lens of me and this person are again just on like sliding up on each other's story status. If we both approached meeting each other like we need to be in a relationship, we probably would have gotten into a relationship at some point, but it wouldn't have worked because that's not actually who we are to each other. That's taking our relationship further than it ever should have gone. And I feel like a lot of you do this without realizing it. It's like you take things with a person where it's like, yeah, they're good, but they were never supposed to go this far with you. You weren't supposed to go that far with them, and then you have all these problems, and it's like you have these dating problems that you end up thinking are normal, and then you'll end up transferring it to when you get in a situation where maybe you and this person should be at this stage, but you still are so stuck on your past problems because to you that's what relationships are. This is a very extreme example, and I wish I could remember exactly who told me this, but this girl told me that her ex used to make her send pictures of her private area to make sure that she hadn't shaved. So he would make sure that the bush was there because in his mind, if she shaved, that meant that she was cheating on him, which is super insecure and insane, right? But I remember she told me, she was like, oh, but like I need that in a relationship. Like if someone doesn't do that, that mean like it makes me feel like something's wrong. And it's like she was like self-aware. So hopefully she grew past that point. But it's like think about that when it's not such an extreme situation. You know what I mean? Like when it's not like, oh my gosh, you don't like me because you're not asking for pictures of my bush. Imagine, oh, me and this person used to fight this much. So now I have to pick fights with this person because I don't know what a relationship is like when there's no conflict. Literally, you have people saying that like you should fight with your partner. If you don't fight with your partner, something's wrong. That's some like the worst dating advice I ever hear people like genuinely give, by the way. But you know what I mean? Like you forcing a relationship to happen doesn't just do damage to the current relationship. It does damage to things in the future. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you know how many women I talk to where like I'll be texting them, right? And then every time I don't text them for a while, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry, I got busy, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like it's okay. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to tell me where you are constantly because the past relationships I've been in, both of them, they always want to know where I was going. For one, they had my location. I walked somewhere. Where are you going? Oh, are you doing this? Are you doing that? I remember one time there was like this like cat like walking on the sidewalk like by where I live because I was going on a walk, right? Took a little video of me like petting them, and then she stood up. She's like, "Oh my gosh, are you cheating on me with someone who has a cat?" And I'm like, I'm literally outside. So it's like naturally I'm anxious when I don't text a person back fast enough because and then I feel like I have to explain what I was doing. But then like, they tell me like, hey, like you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? And it's like there's a big spectrum of those behaviors going from, like mild, like like not that bad if you pick it up to actually very bad and harmful if you pick it up. And I feel like another one of the big problems people have, and I kind of like touched on it a little bit earlier, is putting these people on a pedestal. Like that's kind of honestly what all this stuff is. Like you meet someone, again, you have all your faith in them because like you just need this to happen. Like, oh my gosh, this person's so great. You're daydreaming, you're fantasizing about them. So then when they have something that's just like some normal human shit, you kind of like freak out. They have a flaw and you're like, oh, What? It's something that maybe originally, if you weren't putting so much pressure on this person, wouldn't even be a big deal to you. But since you painted them as perfect in your mind, it is. And now you're second guessing, and now you're treating them as if you're in a relationship with them when you actually aren't. Another problem, and this is one of my favorite problems to talk about, dating, because I feel like no one does, dating for a dynamic. Right? And I mentioned, it sounds like I mentioned this before, but like when I explain it, you'll see it's slightly different. Dating for a dynamic rather than dating for the individual. Like I've met plenty of, I feel like this happens to women a lot. I've met plenty of women where they have an image of like, okay, my future husband is going to be this. Our relationship is going to look like this, right? Like, think about it. There's women who plan their weddings in their mind before they have their husband or their husband to be or their fiance. And then, like, there's certain things where it's like, oh, like, the man, like, he wants like certain things, and this is not just a woman thing, but I'm just giving examples. Like the man, he wants something in his wedding, like he just wants like some like little feature, and then the wife's like, oh no, the woman's like, no, because I've been imagining this since I was 10 years old and that wasn't included. It's like the same concept of imagining what kind of house you want before you are ever in a position to buy a house, before you have a job. Yeah, this is a common thing. Like people do it, right? But there's different levels of people not being able to let go what their childhood things are, right? So you're growing up, you have a concept of like a dream house, right? But then you start working and you start actually like, you know, getting money, accumulating funds, and you're looking at these houses and you're looking at what's actually available to you. Like say you always wanted a house with a pool, right? And that was like one of the main things you wanted, a pool. But you're in a situation where now you can pick between a house with a pool and a house that's subjectively better, but it doesn't have a pool. Like there's more space, like more square footage, more rooms. It's in a better neighborhood, better school district. Everything you can think about in the house is better. But there's just no pool. And growing up, you always wanted a pool. There are some people who legitimately would pick the house with the pool even though the other house is subjectively better. And this is not me saying you should sacrifice certain things that you've wanted your entire life, but this is me saying there's sometimes when it's sensical to let certain things go. Again, in the wedding analogy, like if your husband or you know just whoever, like say a guy planned his wedding, if your partner wants some say in the wedding, like hey, like you know I would like this to be included, that should be taken into account because you can't have a wedding because for one, it's not your wedding; it's a two-party thing, right? So you can't just have your plan for the wedding based off when you were single and then just copy and paste it into when you're in a relationship. Now, mind you, there are some people, they don't care what their wedding's like, so they're just gonna let you have it. But I'm saying if there is conflict, it's not right for you to put what you want because you imagined it over what they want. Because who knows how long they imagine that. Like someone's like, it's better when I give a tangible example. Someone's like, hey, like I really want like a fountain like in the middle. Like I want like a marble fountain, like just like spewing out water. Like I think that would be cool. And you're like, nah, like I didn't picture a fountain. I don't think it would work with like the feng shui that like I'm setting up. Are you really not gonna let that person have a fountain? Really? Like it's like there are people genuinely like that. Like they ask for one thing, like I really want a fountain. I think that'd be really cool. And their say doesn't even get involved in the matter, even though this is the person you're marrying, someone you're supposed to love. And you understand when you paint these, when you imagine dynamics and events by yourself, you dehumanize the other person involved because before it was just this imagination person, this person where hypothetically this is who they are. Like sure, maybe you, you know, as a child you imagined your favorite celebrity as being that person, or maybe you're just like, oh man, just my mystery dream guy, my mystery dream girl. And that's why I have very conflicting feelings on like that certain trend where people are like, oh, like, you know, like when I'm talking to someone and I realize, oh, the love of my life wouldn't say that. The love of my life wouldn't have done that or something like that. Like cramping. Like I understand the concept of someone like doing something like disrespectful towards you and you letting that go. But when it's just something minute, it's like why are you putting that pressure on an actual human being? And it can be more dehumanizing in a direct way too, because I have another story. And I definitely mentioned it on here, so I'm gonna do it quickly. Basically, there's this young lady who wanted me to put gas in her car, right? Hypothetically, imagine we're talking about the future, like, oh, like we live together, da da da. She wanted me to put gas in her car, not put gas in her car if we were both, you know, in the car together and then or like I was driving it somewhere, like put gas in it. She meant the scenario of, you know, she gets home from somewhere, I go out and check on her gas to see if it's full, and then I drive out to the gas station, and then I drive back. You know how much gas that first you know how much gas you waste doing that, bro? You're telling me you see your car's low, right? There's a gas station on the way home. You drive right past it. Boom. It's home. I check. I'm like, oh my gosh, there needs some gas. I use more gas to drive to the gas station, fill it up with gas, and then use more gas to get back. You know how much money you're wasting there? So conceptually, the idea doesn't make sense, right? But anyway, she wanted me to do that. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I feel like that would make me feel like a butler, you know, like some sort of like servant where it's like, oh yeah, like let me inconvenience myself for no reason. I have no reason to be in your car right now. Fill it up with gas. Oh, bro. Remember, she also wanted me to clean her car too. And I'm like, oh, cleaning? Absolutely. Like, cleaning is non negotiable. I was trying to see her vision with the filling up with gas thing because I was thinking she meant like, you know, if I ever like took a car somewhere or like I was in the passenger. Because I'm not gonna, like, even if I'm a passenger in your car and I'm not filling up the gas every time. Maybe a couple times, nice gesture, I get it. But every time, hell no. I remember one time, bro, I was with this dude, bro. Like, he was just my friend at the time. And we were roommates, actually. And I was in his car. And then, like, he was trying to teach me how to pump gas, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, you're not my dad. I can't let this happen. But I did. I definitely pumped his gas. But like Loki, like it wasn't like some asshole. Like it wasn't like he showed me how to do it and then like got in the car or something. Like he was like standing out there the whole time with me. But I'm like, bro, does he really feel like I'm like his kid or something? But yeah, anyways, I was trying to see her vision with the gas thing. But cleaning, no, clean your own damn car. Like that. But to this day, I'm like, bro, that's the most insane like request I've ever heard someone make. Especially like every time. Like it's one thing every once in a while. Like I want you. It would be nice to clean my car. It'd be nice for you to da 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 da. But every time, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. There's nothing in this world that I'm gonna be doing every time for my partner, except maybe take garbage out. And I feel like that makes sense because you know it's a physical task. Oftentimes happens at night. Like I get it, whatever. Especially me, like I feel like I gotta make concessions because I personally I don't want to do dishes because doing dishes make me. I have a bad gag reflex. Like if there's a dish that's not mine, like I'll clean up my own shit, but like as far as like dishes in the sink, like I can't just do that. You know what I mean? Like I will literally vomit if I see like someone else's food in the. I remember when I had roommates that wanted me to do the dishes. I was like, dude, I literally can't. I was like, fight me if you must. Leave me a bloody pulp on the ground. I'm not doing those dishes. But anyways, basically, her argument was, oh, like I always just imagine. For one, of course, it was something her dad did for her, and it's like, bro, I'm not. I remember I was like, do you want me to be your dad? And she was like, yeah. Wasn't the sharpest tool. So like she said that out loud. I was like, like what? Like I was like, how do you not hear how weird that sounds? But basically, her whole thing, she was like, okay, like I always imagined that, like, just that's what my husband would do. And I'm like, okay, I'm telling you, like, I was very like respectful of it. Like, I know I'm disrespecting it now, but that's just because I'm talking about it. In fact, because mind you, I had no respect for that statement. I was trying so hard to not lose my composure there, but you know, I'm just explaining. I'm like, you know what? That would just really make me feel subservient because I'm like, also, I feel like there's nothing that like you would do for me. Not that like I wasn't trying to imply that there wasn't like wouldn't be an effort made, but I'm like I feel like there's nothing I would ask of you or that you even can do for me that would be on the same level as cleaning and putting gas in your car. I literally didn't even mention the cleaning thing because the answer was just no. I was like, but me putting gas in your car every time, it just nothing matches up to that point, right? And I feel like that's reasonable. Like I don't think because I remember she was like, oh, like that's so transactional. I was like, no, like it's just like it'll make me feel like I'm subservient because and then I explained it very well because at the time me and her had this problem. She was always mad that like she called me first, which I don't understand why people get upset about that because like mind you, she would call me at like 10 a.m. And I'm like, okay, can I get my work done and call you later in the day? And she'd be like, yeah, but then like she would still just call me in the morning every time because like she just had nothing better to do. But like she would be mad about that. She'd be like, oh, like it makes me feel like, you know, like I'm the only one who actually like wants to talk, da da da. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I pick up the phone every time. But I'm like, okay, I'm like, I understand. I'm working on calling you first, even though you would never let me call you first because you were calling first, like first thing in the morning every time. But I explained in the argument like about the car, I was like, okay, you explained to me how you calling first makes you feel like subservient. Like it makes you feel like in the relationship, you're down here, I'm up here. That's how me putting gas in your car every time would make me feel. And again, she just kept falling on like, oh, but I always imagined, you know, like I imagine that's what my husband would do. You know, I'm like, but like I'm a human being. Like I'm not just this imaginary guy you made up. You know, like imagine I told you I had this imagination where my future wife was gonna cook me 3 meals a day, give me $1,000 allowance a month, and protect the house like a guard dog and walk around and meow and making cat noises. Like that wouldn't be fair because this is an imaginary woman that I made up, and now I'm meeting a real human being who has real wants, desires, fears, things that they like to do, things that they don't like to do. There were other things too that were kind of similar. I remember I can't use this is something weird about me. I can't use it's giving me goosebumps thinking about it. Metal silverware, if I feel it on my teeth, I wish I could show you my camera quality isn't good enough, but I'm literally getting goosebumps. Like if I feel a metal utensil on my teeth, I literally like I'm shivering, right? Like it makes me feel crazy, autism, something like that. And I can't do it hurts for me to hear other people's metal utensils on like those hard ceramic plates. Oh, like it hurts so bad. Something's wrong with me. And that came up. So I was like, I would need at least for me, because mind you, I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you how to eat, right? So I'm like, yo, like, you can have like the utensils that you want. I'm like, I can keep, my little paper plates and plastic utensils in a in like a cupboard somewhere. And she said something, she's like, oh, but like what about like a dinner party? I'm like, okay, then like for a dinner party, I can suck it up. Pause. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can be like, okay, for a particular event, so things look I understand aesthetics just as much as the next guy. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like for like just on my leisure, I would need plastic plates. I mean, paper plates, plastic utensils, just because that's what makes me that makes me comfortable. And everything else, like those silverware and I don't know why. I usually am never at a loss for words, but for some reason, like plates and silverware really like messing with me right now. But like ceramic plates, silverware, like metal silverware, I just can't do that, especially on a consistent basis. And she was like kind of like upset about that. She's like, no, she's like, I just like, no, like I just always imagined da 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 da. Like she was hitting me with that, right? And you know what's crazy? I think that conversation might have took place on the same day as the other guy. Like I think it was kind of like a multifaceted conversation. But anyways, again, like I said, hey, you either like me and you like value this connection with me and you feel this way about me, or you like this hypothetical person you made up for this hypothetical life that you had planned in the future. You know what I mean? And after talking a bit, like talking through it, like she did end up understanding, and she's like, okay, like there are things that like I'm gonna have to let go of, which I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's something like a 5-year-old knows. Not a 5-year-old, I'm dragging it, but I feel like, like a teenager would even be able to tell you like, hey, like, I used to want to own a blimp, but maybe I'm not going to own a blimp. Maybe I can just admire them from afar. Like imagine I was like, hey, like I always imagined having like this man cave, and I have like a bunch of video games in there. I have like a beer stand, like, like I'm a man, masculinity, but like when I actually have like a place, I'd have to let that go. You know what I mean? And people do that all the time just with things that aren't realistic. Like some people, they wanted in-home gyms, and then like they actually get a home and they're like, you know what? It might make more sense to utilize these rooms in different ways and just like get a gym membership. So it's like you should also do that with relationship and relationship dynamics, right? Now, mind you, this is not me saying settle on everything, but my thing is you either like the person enough or you don't. Chances are, and I mentioned this earlier, you're not going to meet this person who's giving you your theoretical life that you made up before you even met them. So you're gonna have to make concessions. So it's like, why would it be hard for me to like, in a situation where I'm like, I need paper plates for me, just have them in a little cupboard. You know what I mean? And you hear about it all the time. Like when like there's couples interior designing. Like the man just like wants one. It's again, it's I'm not trying to make this a gender thing, but I'm just thinking of the stereotype, right? Like a man, he wants one piece of furniture, and she's like, no, because it doesn't. Da 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 da. This is not what I had in mind. Da 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 da. It's like you're a couple. You're a parent. You're two fully functional human beings. You're going to have to come to the middle on a lot of things. I'm not gonna say at least on some things. So it's like things can go both ways in the sense where you're giving someone too much slack just because you need to be in a relationship so bad. You're like, okay, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, this is gonna work. But you can also sometimes not cut enough slack because this thing that I had in mind before I even started dating, it's just I can't get past that this person isn't this hypothetical person that I made up. That's not healthy for you, for honestly how you view human beings. Like imagine that with a friendship. You know what I mean? Like imagine you meet somebody, right? And you're like, hey, like, oh, we're super cool. We get along very well. Like, do you like skydiving? And they're like, oh, I would never skydive. Like, oh, I'm horrified of heights. I could never do it. Da 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 da. And you're like, oh man, like, I imagined growing up that my full group of friends would skydive for my such and such birthday. Looks like I can't be friends with them because they don't want to skydive. Like, do we see how ridiculous that sounds when you put it in any other situation except dating? But for some reason, and like some people are very specific to this, people hold like human wise, they hold their partner to a different standard than they hold anybody else. And again, like I mentioned earlier, like I feel like when it comes to like certain aspects of respect and things like that, yeah, of course. But I mean like as far as like their autonomy, so many people respect the autonomy of their partner less. I remember I was talking to this girl about, she wanted to call me all the time, right? And I'm like, oh, like I was working, I was doing this, wanted to text all the time. Oh, like, I work sometimes, like please, I just need to like get through certain parts of the day. And, she was really like on my head about it. And I'm like, hey, like, what about like and actually found out like her friends, she was always the one not really texting back, not really answering calls. And I'm like, okay, how come you get mad when I don't answer a call because I'm working or answer a text because like I'm communicating what I'm doing. How come like you get mad at me for that, but like you like literally do the same thing to other people except you don't even give them an explanation. And they're like, oh, the difference is like they're my friends. I'm in a relationship with you. And it's like, that's so not fair. And the thing is, some people don't even treat their friends like that. I mean, some people like dehumanize their friends. Like I saw a post where someone's like, oh, like, you know, the best friendships are like when they're like super low pressure, like you don't have to like talk every day, da da da. And then like I saw people in the comments, like people responding, they're like, oh, like if you don't talk to them every day or they don't text you back fast, they're not your real friends, they're gonna turn on you, da 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 da. You're gonna have to respect someone's autonomy. Now, mind you, in a relationship, I'm not saying someone should go days without texting you, without letting you know what's going on. Like I think vaguely you should know what's going on in their life. At the very least, if they're not gonna be communicating to you. But if there's something that they have to do, especially if it's something like work, like again, like what I'm talking about, I'm making videos, like this is how I make money. Or even I remember I had a young lady get mad at me because I was playing video games with my friend. Mind you, this woman, I had been talking to her every day. And like, I was like, oh man, like, I haven't socialized much recently. And she's like, oh, like, she literally told me, she's like, oh, like, you should play video games like with your friends sometimes. I was like, oh yeah, good idea. When I'm actually doing it, she calls me. And I think it was something, oh, it was so stupid. Like, I literally told her, like, because she had been, I don't know what, she was like in class or something. She was busy doing something, right? And she ended up calling me when she got out, right? And I literally was like, okay, bet I'm gonna finish up this game with so and so, and then I'll just call you. We can just talk, which is already nice because I'm not gonna lie. I talked to that friend, the friend I was playing a video game with. He was also in a relationship, and he was like, yeah, like what she's doing is not good because basically like his girl, like if he told her, because he makes music, like he told her, she told him, like if he told her like, oh, I'm making music, oh, I'm making this song right now, I'm just like working on this right now, she would be like, oh my gosh, no, like don't let me interrupt you. Like she would hang up on him. Like she very much respected his like interests, his autonomy. She really like respected like him just like as a human being, like clearly. So for her to call me and be like, oh, like get off the game, and I'm like, yo, like I'm gonna finish up with so and so, and then like I'll give you a call. When already I'm cutting off like this socialization time, which we both agreed that I need in order to talk to just you. And basically she got very, very mad about it because she wanted me to stop the game like right away, which mind you, it was an online game. So she kept like calling me, cursing me out, and I just ended up like hanging up on her and like muting her. Like I didn't block, but like, we can just like mute somebody for like the rest of the night. And she was mad about that. But it's like some of you genuinely have to understand. And I'm not saying all of you who feel this way would do something that was like so, like, cause that's something that's like kind of just like blatantly being shitty. Like you have to respect the fact that these people you meet aren't just like these hypothetical relationship people that you made up in your head. Like they're real people. They have real interests. They're gonna have real things that they have to do. Sometimes, again, they need, now mind you, I don't mean like space as far as like you gotta like take a break every time, but like sometimes, oh man, they've had a long day. They just want to sit down, watch their favorite show, something like that. You should be able to give that to them, okay? But there are some people, they want whoever they date, sometimes whoever they're talking to just simply be at their beck and call. And obviously that alienates people, that pushes people away. So it's like I'll see people make social media posts and they'll be like, oh, my partner didn't do this. So they didn't like me. So like relationships had to end. We got in so many fights over this. And it's like, you didn't have to get into fights over that. You didn't respect their autonomy. So it's like you ended up breaking up over something that in reality was minor and honestly never would have been a problem if you respected them more as a human being. Another thing people do that keeps them single. And this kind of the main, like the last point, I love talking about the last point because it's so interesting to me that people do it. Like the concept of someone like painting a picture of a person in their head that doesn't exist and then trying to make a new person that person. I find that to be so interesting because it's just stupid. Like, why would you do that? But this might be the biggest thing. It's like people just centering relationships, putting themselves on timeline. I have a couple friends, they're like a year or two older than me, so they're like 25, and they're trying to settle down. They're like, hey, like, I want to get married, have kids, like immediately. And I feel like that is so dangerous. I feel like putting a timeline on yourself is so, and I say this as someone who used to put a timeline on myself. But I realized when getting into relationships, wait a minute, that's not good. You know what I mean? Like sometimes being alone is better than being in a relationship. I shouldn't say being alone. I should say just say being single because, never single, always keep a couple. But like you doing that is, again, a situation where you might be forcing a square peg into a round hole. You in your mind have decided, okay, at this point in my life, I need to marry somebody. I need to have kids before I get too old. For some again, you're getting pressured by society when you can. People would be surprised at how late you can actually have kids and, start your whole life, and you can actually enjoy certain aspects of your life much more than you think you can. But it's like, if I were to decide right now, again, I'm 23, if I'm like, I want to be married by 25, do you know how many of these young ladies that I would be putting immense pressure on to be like, okay, you have to be my person? How many times I'd be looking past things being like, okay, but like, I got to get married. Even subconsciously, it would be a problem. Like people who put timelines on themselves are the ones who it could be a year later, could be 5 years later, could be 10 years later, end up getting divorced or just end up in an unhappy marriage because they're like, you know what, I decided I was single. It was time to wrap it up. And I'm not gonna lie, that was literally me. I was like, okay, 23, last year of college. I got around, it might be time for me to just wrap it up. And that forced me to get into two relationships that ended up being not very healthy. And I ended up looking past those things because I was like, do I want to be this, single person at 23? Not that I was scared of being single. Like once I broke up with the first person, I was past like the fear of being single, but then I kind of wanted to try out the second person. But then, of course, like the feelings are there. It's like, I want to make things work. But overall, the situation happened in the first place because I was like, being single it might not be worth it. But when I tell you, nothing is worth the suffering that can bring you. You'll be struggling with things you didn't know you could struggle with. That's how you overall just get with someone who's not right for you. But when you do something like prioritize connections first, you get to lead yourself to those locations naturally. Because I'll tell you, my dating life, far better when I was single than when I was in a relationship. And obviously that includes now, but I mean even before I was in those relationships. And that's not me saying like every relationship you get into is going to be like shitty or anything like that. Like this is not me saying, this is not like relationship, it's not like an anti-relationship video by any means. But I'm saying things were a lot better when I essentially was choosing the dynamic I was having with each person. I was very satisfied. I was much happier that way. When I was doing things based off their personality, my personality, compatibility, rather than, hey, this is just what I want right now. Like a vague overall desire for a relationship dynamic. Like I'm telling you, some of y'all be letting the societal condition beat your buns. You be getting cooked by it. And again, like I said, I used to be that person. The world is telling you, oh, by this certain age, you got to get married. Oh, by this certain age, you got to have kids. There's no actual rules, bro. You're not going to get arrested. And it's like, imagine you're in a situation, like again, my friends said they wanted to be married by, I forgot how, like the ones who were 25, they said something like 2 years. Okay, so say 27, they settle down with somebody, right? Because they're like, got to be married by 27. This next person, they're going to have to be the one where I make it work with. Imagine alternate universe time. 2 years after 27, at 29, they meet someone who's actually the love of their life. And the person they met at 27, they end up getting divorced when they're like 32. And now they're out here. Bro, dating in your 30s, bro, you know how much of a wasteland that is? Like people are saying, like just comparatively, like people, like I don't want this to sound like it's like pushing the opposite notion of like, oh, before you get 30, you got to settle down. Because that's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're in a situation where you're like, oh man, the scene's getting bad out here. I'm in my 20s, bro. I got to hurry up. Imagine you get with that person, you get divorced in your 30s and you have the same mindset. You know how ass that's gonna be, bro? Straight cheeks, okay? But when you go for dynamics, things happen naturally with the person. Like I've had people where I talk to them, I naturally end up cutting certain people off. You know what I mean? Not because I don't like those people, but because I like the person I'm talking to so much. And those have been the best situations that I've been in, where things kind of happen like without words. Now, obviously, you want to talk to those people, right? Like if you were actually to get into a relationship with them, like you would have to have like an official discussion. Like I'm not saying you just morph into a marriage overnight, but the feeling happens naturally, okay? Like you're not just getting into a situation where you're like, okay, like let's just make this official quickly. Like I'm not too sure, but like let's get a head start. You know what I mean? Because again, that's problematic. You're not actually sure this is the person. Like that's why when I say talking stages should be a really long time, people look at me crazy. Like, bro, look, I hope, because this number is going to sound extreme, okay? I hope it doesn't undermine like the advice I'm giving you in the video. But a talking stage, bro, for a year, I think is completely valid. Like I think a talking stage for a year is more valid than being in a talking stage for 2-3 months. And look, I know you're going to disagree, but you have to understand, you should know this person before you really lock it in. Like again, if you want to talk about dating with intention, you should be very confident that this is going to be the person. And some people are going to say, oh, well, it wouldn't take that long. It should take that long. It should, because, and think about it. If this ends up being the person, what did you really lose by talking to them for a year? Like people talk about wasting time in talking stages. And unless you decide to be monogamous for some stupid reason, talking stages waste less time than relationships. Because again, people get into relationships not sure if it's the person or being like, okay, like I think so, I don't really know so, but I think this can work. And then they end up breaking up. Because again, think about that. Think about how many people get into relationships for 3 years, break up. 4 years, break up. 1 year, break up. Think about that time wasted where you could have been out here, maybe you're talking to that person, but you're single, you're out here meeting new people, and then you actually meet the love of your life. And again, those things happen. And that's why, like I mentioned earlier, when I talk about people getting demoralized because they got left undelivered by somebody, and I'm like, hey, you don't know, they could be talking to someone that they've known for a year. Once you actually build up that rapport, because that actually did happen. I don't know if I mentioned it in this video specifically, like in this specifics, but I was talking to Shorty for a very long time. Me and her were like, not essentially anonymous in the sense where it's like we were monogamous in the sense where we were about to do it, but in the sense where like I kind of cut off a few people, okay? Like I wasn't really talking to as many people as usual. It's like, I met that young lady, same music taste, things were great. And then a few months later, after I actually got to know her, she did overtake that woman who I thought was like the GOAT. Like I thought she was the shit. Like y'all have to understand there's always opportunity in those moments. But it's like, patience is a virtue isn't just some made up phrase. You got, and like when people say it happens to you when you're not looking, that's what they mean. When you're talking to someone through the lens of, hey, I'm getting to know this person. Let's see how it works. I'm not really looking for a relationship right now, but like they are kind of goated. Like, let's see how things work between them. You naturally progress to that point rather than boom, relationship right away. Because again, being in a relationship complicates things. It could be the person who actually is the person meant for you, the person in your dreams, but the relationship too fast just made things far too complicated for you too. Could be your soulmate, okay, but the vibe of the dynamic was simply not ready. Like, I need y'all to understand there are fates worse than being single. There are fates far worse than being single, dog. When I was in relationships, I was in hell. I was in prison, dog. I hated that shit, bro. That was awful. I couldn't imagine being married to those people. Like, no offense, like no, not even any sort of like hate to them, but like just that. I'm like, I couldn't imagine this situation, but like forever. Oh, I much prefer a situation in the context of those. Like, and the thing is, I'm not anti-relationship. Like I said, like I could see myself being in a relationship and being happy, but I'm saying like specifically those ones in particular, the ones that I kind of ended up forcing to be, like looking past certain things because I was like, oh, like I want to wrap this up, or like, oh, like I just really want to make this work. When now I can be single, there's not that pressure on myself. I can talk to whomever, however much I want, and I'm much more satisfied with that. And I feel like a lot of people conflate being single with being alone. And it's like, I remember I got into like little Twitter beef with someone, and then they were like, oh, that's why you don't have a girlfriend. And I was like, first of all, I have a couple. Little sleazy guy joke there. But also, like having a quote unquote girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife is not the end all be all. Like if someone told, there are some people where I think you genuinely need to ask yourself this. If someone told you in 10 years, ooh, 10 years is a long time, but it's good for the question. If someone told you in 10 years that you would not be married, not have kids, but you would be happy, or like you'd be happy, satisfied, like with like how your life was going, or in 10 years you could have husband, wife, kids, but be less satisfied with your life, what would you choose? Like in all honesty, okay? Now I feel like most people might say they would choose the happiness version, but I feel like some people, if you put those two buttons in front of them, they would be sweating. But it's like, why is that? Okay, you're drinking the propaganda, you're drinking the societal Kool-Aid. It was like that person who told me that I didn't have a girlfriend. It's like you can be single without being alone. There are plenty of people in this world. Like, not gonna lie, some of the relationship dynamics I've had that I valued the most, like throughout my life, have been situations where it's just mutually more of a casual thing. And I don't just mean casually sleeping to each other. I mean like seeing each other casually. You know what I mean? Like there's no pressure on the situation. So it's like you need to understand, like, you'll be fine being single. I feel like once people realize that, like, oh, like I'll be okay out here. But the problem is, like, the people who hate being single are the people who are single and can't be single. Like they can't, when people, I can't talk to more than one person at a time. Like, yeah, you're going to suffer because again, you're conflating every relationship into a monogamous relationship, which is not healthy, or just people in general who can't, who like, yeah, they can talk to multiple people, but like, okay, I need to be in a monogamous relationship. I need to get there fast. Those are the people who don't enjoy it, but people who can be laid back and be like, okay, I'm single right now, whatever, and talk to who, and mind you, that's why I had to give the disclaimer at chopped people might not be able to do this. Okay, like a disclaimer at the beginning of the video was for that reason. Someone's like, hey, I may be single right now. I can talk to whomever. Hey, I like this person this amount, like this person this amount. I'm vibing. I'm doing what I want, especially, and that's why it's important to have goals outside dating too. And that's why when a lot of, this is not like a gender war video, but when a lot of women talk about like suffering in the dating game, I feel like a lot of it, for some, I know they're not all like this, is they value dating and like being like the dream of like being someone's husband, being someone's wife, and I mean being someone's wife and having kids over any sort of other accomplishment. Like me, y'all know I'm a content creator. I want to grow my content, grow my platform. I've been posting on different platforms. I started posting on Facebook, which is going trash. I have 0 followers on Facebook. I started posting on this Instagram account I made for content, which I don't know. I don't want to put it with all my links because I want my Instagram to be my Instagram. But like, I'm posting, some reels. I'm seeing how it works. Because like, why not? What do I have to lose? I should have started way earlier, by the way. Some of you have seen I'm posting YouTube shorts. I'm working on growing the platform. Once my back gets healthy, I'm going to be streaming a lot more. Like, as you can see, I've been changing positions in this chair because it hurts my back greatly. But you know what I mean? Like, these are goals I have that dating has nothing to do with, even though my job is kind of like dating and then like telling you guys how it goes. But overall, like, this concept is far from, my goals of being a father and husband. So it's like there are things in the interim that can satisfy me without it being like a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some people, and I feel like it happens to women a lot because how they're societally conditioned. It's like, oh, I want to be a wife and I almost said father. What's wrong with me right now? Oh, I want to be a wife and mother. And like they're going around looking to be a wife and mother. Nothing else is making them happy. They have no other goals in life. They're not moving towards. And I'm not lying. Some men are like this, bro. Just in general, like, I mean, you're going through your life. You have no goals. Like, there's nothing you're striving to do. But god damn it, I got. But god damn it, I gotta find a baddie and marry her. And that's what puts you in positions like I mentioned before, like putting pressure on relationships, forcing dynamic, because nothing else actually makes you happy. Like, there's nothing else that you're actually progressing at. Like, people who can't handle being single, people who need to be in a relationship, there's nothing professionally that they have going for them. That's why so many professionals like have never been married. And again, I'm not saying that like you have to go that far. You know what I mean? Like, because certain athletes where it's like, oh, I wasn't able to be like a husband and father like I needed to. Like, I'm not saying you have to go that far, but I'm just saying like you can find happiness without dating. You can have the goals of wanting to be this spouse and parent without actively being in a monogamous relationship that's leading to marriage. And I'm telling you, that's why when people are like, oh, like work on yourself and it will all come together. Like, it's kind of like cornballs who say that, like the cornball motivational content. But it's true because like I mentioned earlier, like sometimes when you're just there to vibe, you're irresistible. Like, I'm linking up with these women. I'm not asking them what they bring to the table, which I don't, in theory, I don't have a problem with that question, but I feel like it's just awkward to ask. So, like, I feel like people should bring things to the table. Like, don't worry about it. But, I'm not over here asking these, like, are you my future wife questions. I'm like, hey, I'm getting to know you. Hey, you're super cool. Yeah, I say things, maybe you think I'm cool. And then boom, that they want me. Now, mind you, how much they want me is up to them. Like I mentioned, there are situations where people instantly want a relationship, which red flag, very bad. And there are situations where people are just, matching the vibe. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna vibe too. And that's what makes it works for me. Like, again, am I handsome? Am I tall? Yes. But also, I promise you, things wouldn't work out as well for me if I was putting so much pressure on these people that I'm talking to. Because the thing is, most people, I might take this back. Okay, a good amount of people are just naturally like pretty likable. Like, once you get to know them, you find out about someone's life. Oh man, you do this, you do that. Like, these are interests. Most people are just pretty cool. When you approach them as a human being, similar to how you would approach a friend, you'll actually have like a lot more when you present yourself, how you'd present yourself to like a stranger or a friend. Like, so many people have so many friends, but they're like, man, like, why does my dating never really work out for me? It's because you're not approaching these people romantically like human beings. You know what I mean? And especially not like equals. Like, some people, you're dating them, it sounds like a job interview. Like, I remember watching the fucking Pop the Balloons. Maybe, do you provide? Are you a provider? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, just vibe. And like, especially, and the same thing with the what do you bring to the table thing. You'll find out who that person is by talking to. I'm so sorry, table shaking. But like, you'll find out who that person is by talking to them casually. And again, it can be someone who's a fine person, but not necessarily compatible with you. And guess what? You can still have them around. You know what I mean? Like, there are people where me and them dating wise wouldn't be compatible, but we can link up. I can say what's up. I can hit it from time to time. But you know what I mean? It's like when I'm telling you, like, this, the most important thing, when you take all these things I've been talking about out of the equation, when you stop putting so much pressure on these people, on yourself, on relationships, and you start coming to people as a human being, you'll find people like you so much more. It's the same thing when you're talking to someone who you're not really into like that, but they're all over you. And then you're like, how come though the people I really like don't like me? Some of that is because of like dating levels, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like some people being out the league, like I know some people would answer it like that. So I have to preface by saying, like, if you're chopped, like, thought I paused, but yeah, if you're chopped, remember, like, it's kind of a sticky situation. But oftentimes it's personality. It's you see this person, oh, they're so attractive. Oh, I could really do something serious with them. And you're not talking to them normal. Someone where you're just like, oh, they're pretty attractive. Like they're decent looking. And you talk to them like a normal person because you don't really have expectations of them or yourself. You come across much more likable that way. But a lot of you don't do that when you really like someone because you feel like you have to force a dynamic. You feel like you need something to happen, which you should never feel like that. Like I'm telling you, bro, you could slightly above mid shit comes in this room right now. I would treat her the same way I would treat fine shit, and vice versa, which sounds crazy, I know. But that's why I can put in the work that I put in, because I understand that I'm who I am as a human being. If I come to them as that person, they're either going to like that person or they're not going to like that person. But them liking that person is much more likely when I am actually being that person rather than making a presentation, doing it like a job interview. Oh, here's what I can do. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I'm gonna flex my rollie on you. Oh my gosh, dude. There's this girl. She thought I was flexing on her because I actually left my closet open, and I got some designer in there. She said, oh yeah, like you just want me to see the drip, right? I think she was joking, but like it was funny. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you approach a baddie like a human being, things tend to work out. Especially because, dude, very attractive people, they're not used to being talked to like a human being. They're used to people like kind of like throwing themselves at them. Like women, bro, like very attractive women, they're used to men like trying to give them money, trying to, oh, like, let me take you out here, let me take you out here. Some of them literally, like, now I'm not saying this will work for everybody, but I'm like, some of them genuinely, when you just have a conversation with them, they're like, oh shit. Like, I can't remember the last time a man just tried to have a conversation with me when the only thing they wanted out of it was the conversation itself rather than a relationship, intercourse, things of the sort. So that's why when I talk about like, oh, do I have, like, I don't have game, bro, but I'll tell you a method that's almost undefeated. The treat them like a human being method, bro. It works so frequently, especially with bad, like, I say it's most effective with like the baddest because people just they don't do that to them. Like people, especially guys, like they think they're like, oh my gosh, like people, oh they just want money. Like I think they have all these guys like offering them this, that, this, that, this. Because those guys are in their heads about it. They're like, oh, I have to show her that I have money. Oh, I have to show her what I can do for her so she picks me. But in reality, bro, people like people or they don't. Like, yes, they can like what you do for them. And then that leads to a situation where they're with you for what you can do for them, or at least what you can do for them plays a significant part. But like, that thing where it's like, oh man, like you did so much for so and so and they're cheating on you for this person right here. Like what? Like this guy, he doesn't have a couch. Like he sleeps on the floor and she's with him. It's because she likes him. She likes that guy. Like she likes who they like. It's not just like, oh, women like bums, women like hood dudes who like slang yayo. Like no, that's not it. Mind you, there's some people who do just like prefer like a rebellious archetype, but usually it's like, oh, this guy where it seems like he doesn't have anything, he most likely brought something to the table personality wise that she liked. So it's like and I don't want this video to seem like it's directed at men because like both, I think women can learn from this too. You don't have to offer someone the world. You shouldn't have to offer someone the world in order for them to want to be with you. You don't have to, because if someone likes you, they like you. And you're already in there. So it's the same concept. I always tell you, I've never bought a woman, bought in? That's not it. I've never bought a woman a drink at a bar or a club. Like the concept of like, hey, like let me buy you a drink, like let's talk. Crazy for one, because I hear women say all the time that they get men to buy them drinks and they have no intention of getting to know them whatsoever. Mind you, of course, if you're a good looking guy, you do it, you're handsome, you seem charismatic, obviously they're going to accept the drink. But what I'm saying is, if you're that same guy, good looking, handsome, and they want to talk to you, you don't have to buy them a drink. I promise you. I want you to think about it this way, okay? You're like, man, you got to buy a woman a drink. Do you think Michael B. Jordan would have to buy this woman a drink? And I don't mean to compare yourself to someone who's extremely like more like clouded up, famous, possibly even more attractive than you. I just mean that in the sense where the hard and fast rule of like, even if they say this out loud, like, oh man, I would only talk to someone who bought me a drink, is just simply not true. Again, like you see these like thirst trappers on the internet. You see people like commenting like you think the people who like those thirst trappers, people who follow them, that they need something extra from those people in order to like date them or talk to them? Absolutely not. And that's why like people, bro, like internet women get so mad at me when I'm like talking about like this exactly, but it's like, if you come as you are, somebody's going to like you, and it's better that way because they're gonna like you for you. You didn't have to convince them to do that. Like they just genuinely have feelings for you. And again, that's how I end up in situations with women where they're like, oh, I've never asked a guy out before. Oh my gosh, I've never paid for a guy's meal before. Da, 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 da. Because I'm me. And they're like, oh, wait, I like this guy. Now, like, these things are coming more naturally. And that's why it's like, it's a super big win for them. Like, congratulations. Like, you get to feel this way about somebody. But it's like the magic of that is, again, I lead with who I am. I mean, I lead with me being like handsome and tall and athletic and character. Okay, but I lead with my personality. I lead with who I am rather than anything I can do for them. This thing is, if I'm not enough, like if I'm not cool enough, if I don't have enough swag, if my vibe isn't raw enough, then so be it. It never would have been raw enough. Like, you ever hear those situations, bro, about like, husband loses his job so she divorces him because like he can't pay for stuff anymore? You know how crazy that is, bro? Like, you know how to avoid those situations? By leading with your personality. I feel like nowadays, okay, and this is from the woman's perspective, I feel like it's hard to meet, again, because the way society's trying to set things up, I think it's hard to meet real guys, like guys who are like, hey, like think about how a lot of women talk about men. Like they're just emotionless blobs. Not like, oh, they're so boring, like nothing going on. Because there are so many men out there leading with wallets, leading with, hey, like I can do this for you, I can do that for you. There are women who say they're not attracted to men until those men do something for them. That's not true. They're not attracted to the men they choose to date until those men do something for them. But those same women, if they meet a guy where, he just showcases his personality, hey, this is me, this is my interest, I like these things. Oftentimes, dude, the bar is in hell. They're gonna be captivated. Like, cause I'm not gonna lie, bro. Again, I think I'm a handsome guy, tall. I have some niche interests, but I don't think I'm that cool of a guy. Like, part of the reason so many women get on me like the way they do is because other men just aren't showcasing who they are. Like, it's amazing to them because it's like they're meeting a man who's like self-aware. It's like it's like going to the pound, right? And all those dogs are in the rooms doing dog shit, and you just see like one dog like standing up on his hind legs, like looking around. And you're like, wait, I want that one. Like that one's doing something different. And again, like the different thing isn't just me. Okay, now do I think I'm better than everyone? Perhaps, but like it's not just me being better than everyone in an objective sense. It's the concept of I'm simply on some other shit. Like again, like I know people who tell me they're like, Bryce, you're literally me. I'm literally just like you, Bryce. And I'm like, I'm always very skeptical, okay? Because for one, I'm just a weird guy. But I'm always very skeptical, okay? But even like those men who are like, oh, like we're like twins, we're very similar. They're still asking women out. And I'm not saying you shouldn't ask women out. I just personally don't do it. But it's like in not asking women out, it's like it's furthers on me not putting on a performance that society wants me to. So in their mind, even if they're thinking it subconsciously, they're like, man, this guy really just like texted me. Like he really like talked to me, just got to know me for weeks before ever asking to link up. How interesting. We just truly got to know each other in a very, very pure sense. And some of them, I've heard that like verbatim, like that's what they said. They're like, oh yeah, us like talking for so long before we met, like that actually like, I feel like made us getting to know each other so pure. And it's like, hell yeah. So moral of the story, get like me, to be real. I'm telling you, bro, my romantic emotion, it's not because I'm more handsome than you, even though I probably am. It's not because I'm taller than you, even though I probably am. It's not because I'm more charismatic than you. I don't think I'm more charismatic. I don't think I'm very charismatic in general, but I feel like I have some romantic charisma. But it's not, I mean? It's not because I'm more clouded up than you. No, oh yeah, no. Because the things, it was like that even before. I had to think for a second. I was scared. I was like, wait, oh my gosh, are they with me for the clout? But no, it's literally because I mastered from a young age. And I'm not gonna lie, I think it came from my trauma. It came from my trauma because I've had a hard life. Let's talk about it. And I didn't even realize it, okay, until time. Dude, grandma died when I was like 5, right? Which I thought was normal for most people. Apparently it's not, right? I feel like it happens to a lot of people, but it's not normal. I'm like, dang, she's out the game. That's so sad. Cancer got her. It was eating her up. My dad, when I was like a baby, he forgot to feed me, okay? Because he didn't know he had to. And that same dad, like, abandoned me when I was like 5. And then, the brother that I used to hang out with whenever I would get visitation with him, my best friend at the time, I have not seen that brother since. I haven't even really spoken to him. Like one time, I was getting a scholarship and he said, hey, like, congrats, you're doing big things. I was like, hey, thank you. I hear you are too. Only conversation, and it was a text conversation, only words I've ever spoken to my brother since I was 5 years old, okay? Throughout school, I was relentlessly bullied, okay? Relentlessly. And it's, mind you, I was bigger than every other kid there. I wasn't fat, of course. Like I always had like my cunty frame, but like there was a target on my back, bro. Kids were just mean to me. I was different. I was different from everybody. I wasn't like the other kids. And then, bro, shit got real bad in middle school. Worst bullying I've received in my entire life. And then my aunt died. R.I.P., bro. RIP took her own life. You know how sad that is, bro, as a middle schooler? Like, you may like tell me, hey man, man up, it was only your aunt. But like, bro, that was my aunt. And plus I was seeing her so much, like at that time, like we were getting along so well. And dude, it was actually very traumatic because I was supposed to see her the day that she did it. Like, I remember I had just gotten the new college football game, you know, and I was like doing like recruiting and stuff like that. I was like, oh, you know, this one day, like, cause I think I was seeing her like every weekend. I was like, oh, like this one day, like I'm just gonna like stay home and play the game. That was the day they found her body. You know the guilt that holds like within somebody. Okay, and then a few years later, Uncle died, and it was even worse. And I don't even say worse. They're both bad situations. Uncle hadn't seen him in years. Nobody had seen him. We didn't know what he was. Like apparently he was like became like some homeless man. Like and like nobody could help him because we didn't know where he was. There was somehow an infection that happened to his leg, right? And they had to like cut his leg off. And then, you know, they somehow identified him as who he was, had my mom come to the hospital. And then they're like, okay, the infection is like, the infection from the leg thing spread to the other leg. They're like, we're going to have to like cut off both of his legs. Like, unless, because he wasn't conscious at this time. They're like, unless like basically you think that's not what he would want. Or they didn't ask it like that. But basically, my mom came to the conclusion, and obviously, my uncle's like kids, my cousins. And he was like, yo, like, they were like, yo, like he wouldn't want to live like that. You know what I mean? Plus, he was already an angry guy. Like he would have been angry so bad for not having legs. So they pulled the plug. R.I.P. And I remember, I don't know if it was a bit after that, but sometime after that, my father kind of made a resurgence. Like he was calling me every once in a while. We were talking on the phone, which was cool. But then I remember I was struggling in like, I think it was like pre-calculus or something. Like I failed like a test. And then he called me. And he was like, because I think my mom told him like I was struggling in class. And that was around the time I'd been like, it was after the time I was diagnosed with like depression, anxiety, all that stuff. So I was like getting on medication, but the medication wasn't working. So I was struggling with a lot, right? And I'm sure my mom told him the same thing, but like my dad doesn't really believe in that kind of stuff. Basically, he called me and he was yelling at me for, again, not doing well in that class. And he told me, he was like, hey, he's like, stop. Like he yelled at me, like, hey, like stop effing up. Like, you know, you're going to get out of your mom's house, like when you turn 18. And I'm like, okay, like I knew that. Like I was never gonna stay in my mom's house. Like that wasn't an option for me. And he was like, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna go to the military, or I'm gonna put you in prison. And should I be saying this out loud? I don't even care, bro. Basically, let me tell you this. My family, let's just say certain areas in which my family live in, that side of the family, are very sketchy. Like very like, you know, like those like stereotypical like places in the South where like law doesn't really take place, like in like, you know, there's certain people like in other people's like pockets, certain people controlling, like telling people what to do, like it's that kind of thing. So if I went there and my dad wanted me to be put in prison, he could put me in prison. They could make some shit up and be like, hey, like put him in jail. And for one, I don't know why you would do that. And for one, like why do you think I would come to you? Why do you think I would go to you and voluntarily go to prison? Well, he told me that, right? And he told me that, and then he just like got off the phone. Like he was like he had to go. And I was like, okay. And I remember after that, I threw my phone against the wall, started sobbing uncontrollably. Because I was thinking to myself, I was like, bro, this man left when I was 5. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I've talked to people about this before. I had such an admiration for my dad, like throughout my entire childhood. Like when I was in kindergarten, and dude, this is like, I couldn't imagine being my kindergarten teacher. Like no wonder like she liked me so much, because I feel like she felt bad. We had like every day we'd come in and like write a page, right? Write a page or two. Like I think it was one point, it was one page, and then it was one page front and back. So like 2 pages. Every day I would write about my dad. In like, I would write about hypothetical events in which I would see him. Like I'd be like, oh, like, you know, if I saw my dad, we could do this. We could go to the park. We could play video game. We could do this. We could go in a swimming pool. Every day I found something new to fantasize about spending time with my father, who had abandoned me. And as a child, I didn't understand what abandoning meant. I just knew I couldn't see my dad for some reason. So then, like, you know, I'm growing up, you know, past that age, and then I'm like, oh, my dad really just isn't here. I still hadn't processed the fact that like I figured, I was like, oh, he's busy, you know, he works, like he has to do something. I hadn't really processed, you know, the fact, well, years later, I mentioned this to you. I think I have a whole video about it. He basically abandoned me because he didn't want to take care of me while my mom was dating other people, which she wasn't. Like I've seen my mom with like 2 men in my, not like with it, like I didn't see her fuck these niggas, but like I've seen my mom with like 2 men throughout like her entire life, or my entire life, and it was much after my father abandoned me regardless. But basically, he didn't want to have custody of me because he thought she was going to be out dating other men while I was being taken care of, which didn't make sense because she also had 2 other kids she had to raise, big time single mother, because their father had passed away. So again, I still admire my father, but then like after that phone call, I threw my phone against the wall, started sobbing uncontrollably. Because in my mind, I'm like, this entire time, bro, you haven't fathered me once. Haven't fathered me once. Like, yeah, when I was a little kid, like I used to go to your place and I'd eat macaroni or whatever with my brother. So even though externally I wasn't presenting as understanding the concept of being abandoned, I think internally I understood the concept of being abandoned. So it's like you never parented me throughout my entire life, and now you wanna parent me like that? Like the first inkling of, because the thing is, even before, like when I would talk to my dad on the phone, it was just like, oh, we're talking about sports. Oh man, Steph Curry, he's so good. You know what I mean? Like it was just like shit like that. Like shit you would talk to a buddy about. But like the first lick of parenting you want to give me is you yelling at me, telling me that like threatening to put me in jail. Like that's the first thing you're gonna do, bro. I sobbed uncontrollably. It was bad, bro. And I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to talk to my father anymore. And that was something I never thought I would say, because I remember when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was see my dad. Dude, I used to pray because like my mom, like she raised us all, like I used to be a really big Christian. Like she brought us all to church. It was like a big thing. I used to pray to God that I'd be able to see my dad soon, like at some point in time. And now here I am telling my mom, I don't want to talk to bro no more. I'm not rocking with that. I can't, and I can't be disrespected by someone who's shown me so little respect throughout my young life. And obviously, she was mad at him about that, so she like talked to him, whatever. And I forgot we've talked since then. Like things definitely got like there's no like animosity now. I forgot how things got better. But anyways, that happened. It was a big deal. It was a watershed moment in my life. Now outside of that, I don't know what it impacted, but like that was a big moment. I was like, dang, like probably just my overall like depression probably increased. But then after that, I was kind of getting some hope in my life, bro. Like I was getting recruited for football. The thing, more crazy dad lore, dude. I started playing football because I thought it would make my dad like me, bro. Like genuinely, I remember. I think I was in like first or second grade. I was like, oh my gosh, eventually he's gonna want to come and see me play, because like I'm gonna say he played football. I'm gonna play football. He's never got to see it, ever. But anyways, I'm in high school. I'm getting recruited to colleges where I'm like, great, because obviously I loved football as a sport. Like that was why I joined, but like it wasn't like why I was doing it the entire time. So basically, I'm playing football like it is a sport, and I'm like, oh man, I'm getting recruited to these different colleges. Like it's so great. I'm D1. Like I got Ohio State, Michigan, Miami, like Oregon. I got Oregon at the very end, but I'm gonna throw that in there. But you know what I mean? Like I got these schools like I could really go to, and like it's these big places that like want me, and I'm like, this is elite. And I end up selecting Penn State, and I'm like, you know what? I'm finally gonna be happy. I've always been an outcast. I've always been an outlier. I've never really fit in, because especially like even when I got to high school, everyone remembered me as, I was definitely weird in high school, but everyone even remembered me as like the weird kid from middle school, the weird kid from freshman year who always wore. I used to always wear shorts and very long socks and thigh pads. People didn't really like me like that. Like I had friends, but I was an outsider, right? So I was like, man, like maybe I'm gonna go to Penn State. I'm gonna be a football player at Penn State. Dude, for some reason, apparently Penn State's like the one school where like the student body hates the football team, bro. Like just my luck, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be able to like actually be in like social groups, and I'm gonna make things happen. I'm gonna be playing. Like my dream was always to play college football. And then I go there, okay, and things are cool at first. I'm enjoying it, having a great time. I'm loving my classes. I'm participating, and then the shutdown happens. Then I'm home I literally graduated early because I was so excited to go. But everyone was in their house until I think it was like that June or July. Went back, everything was cool at first. Then everything changed. Everyone switched up on me. I was trash. I sucked. I was getting like thrown around because I was so physically weak and frail. But I was working at it. After practice, I was always hitting the bags, like doing like extra little drills. After the workouts, I was doing more workouts. After the conditioning, I would condition more. You see a pattern here. On days off, I would come to the gym. You see a pattern of me trying my darndest, because I'm like, this is my dream. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm going through life. I'm trying to be the best player I can be, the best teammate I can be. I'm out here. I'm not like brown nosing in a traditional sense, but like I'm doing the things people want me to do. Like I'm a yes coach, no coach type guy. Very, very respectful. And then, people start treating me a certain way. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. And then again, I'm coming in thinking that like, maybe I'll be less of an outsider. more of an outsider than I've been in my entire life. I'm around a bunch of dudes who are like the cool kids in their high school, and me, dude, I was in band. I was a band geek in high school. I was a band nerd. Nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. I'm a nuisance to be around. I can tell people don't like when I'm in the room, that they want me to leave. Nobody there respects me whatsoever. I'm a loner, bro. It's so bad. Like, I never left my room. Like, I was just like, man, I guess I'm gonna be here. Was I clapping cheeks? Was I called Coochie Man by some? Yes. Okay. It kind of ruins like the story I'm telling you if I tell you about me clapping cheeks. Okay. So just I'm in my room all the time. You know, just by myself, just cool. You know, and it was like football used to be my escape. But it's like now I go into the building, everyone's shitting on me, and like not even just shitting on me like as a player, like shitting on me as a person. You know, I'm getting thrown around like ragdolled, and they're yelling at me like I'm doing it on purpose. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm sorry. You know, people bad mouthing me to each other, and they just hate me, and I have to deal with it. I have to deal with these niggas hating me, and it's like, what did I even do? Like, what did I do besides be bad? I'm an outsider, right? Like, it's like I'm on the team, but I'm being treated like the opposite of a I'm the opposite of make a wish kid. I'm being treated like a make a nightmare elder. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it genuinely, like, if you were to like the experience was almost like cartoonishly bad in the sense where it's like, hey, like, you know, you pay whatever amount so you can put on this virtual reality headset and live the worst possible life a scholarship Division 1 athlete playing football can get. And that's what I was dealing with, okay? And it led to a lot of stress. It led to me developing eating problems, okay? Anorexia, bulimia. I could not get enough calories down to save my life. You know, and throughout that time I'm being threatened, even before the eating disorder got really bad, bro, I'm out here getting like threatened. And I'll never forget, Coach Frank, he was like, why aren't you gaining weight? It's not your genetics. Because even, like, again, like, I'm talking about like before my eating problems. When I was eating a lot, it's not your genetics. Bro, I've been skinny all my life. It's absolutely my genetics. My dad was skinny when he played. He was even skinny for his. My dad was a linebacker. He was skinny for a linebacker. You want me to play defensive end, bro? Everyone on my mom's side of the family is skinny, especially the tall people. Like, bro, we're skinny people. So I don't know what, like, literally when he said, I think when he said like it wasn't genetics, I looked at him. I was like, because I was like, what now? Because the things, again, I wasn't gonna argue with him, but I'm like, what do I say? Like not that I was even gonna bring up genetics as an excuse, but I'm just like, what do you mean it's not genetic? Because then he's gonna compare me to some other dude. He compared me to someone who lost weight. He's like, oh well, you know, so and so. I told him to lose weight, and he did. I'm like, first of all, even if he compared me to someone who gained weight, like, I remember one time someone compared me to Tyler Warren, best tight end in football, in who me and him were in the same class, where where he ended up like gaining weight, right? And the thing is, it's like people have different bodies, people have different metabolisms. Like, do we not know this? So it's like, even if he did that, that'd be crazy. But it's like, now you're comparing me to someone who lost weight, which as we know, would be far easier for me to do than gain. But anyways, then he makes a threat to like, bro, just tell me to transfer, bro. You know, he made the threat to like kick me out the school, bro, take my scholarship. And that's when the eating problem got real bad. Okay, so it's like you're already isolated, right? You got nobody really to rely on. Right? Yes, you can crack people from here and there, but that's not the same as having like friends. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the same as having like a real buddy. Even like at the time, my best friend, bro, best friend and roommate, right? Like, he was there, right? He like when other people were around, would shit on me. Like, you know, we're at the crib, like watching like some stupid show. We're chilling, we're vibing, like everything's cool. But God forbid other people enter the room, I'm getting shit on, bro. And I don't mean that in a literal sense, like that girl from the other video. But it's like, I understand. I'm like, okay, man, it's my place in the bigger picture. Like, I guess this is who my friends are. People who shit on me and say bad things about me. And it sucks because, like, when I tell you guys stories where I'm like, oh, this happened between me and my friend, I have to refer to them as friends. But like, they didn't treat me like a friend whatsoever. I was a joke to them. I was a walking punchline. It was horrible. I hated it, man. So it's like, you're in that situation, and then you're in a situation where your entire life is about to get turned upside down. On top of that, you're already like bad at the thing that like you want to be good at. Like, the thing you want to be good at more than anything in the world, you're bad at it. You're trying and nothing is like working. Like, sure, maybe you're getting minutely better at the things that like, you know, at the drills, but like, you're still getting like fucked up. Your strength still isn't where it needs to be because you came in as possibly the weakest person in program history, which may or may not be because you herniated a disc your freshman year of high school, and then, you know, you're supposed to get surgery, but you simply couldn't because surgery costs money. And perhaps someone in the recruiting process told you, when you specifically asked them about your back, you know, if things would be able to get handled, that, yeah, you know, they'd look into it and see if you needed the surgery. But guess what? Guess what didn't happen? That didn't happen. You're in a situation, again, you're already depressed. You're already an anxious person, bro. Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna die. Like, you're like, at some point in the next few, because I forgot what day he gave me. I forgot. It was like at some point in a month. I'm pretty sure it was like December, right? And basically, you know, trying my best, eating throwing it up, it's going back out, still working after practice, trying my best, losing weight left and right. Because again, throwing up, again, not being able to get food down in the first place. Everyone telling me I'm skin and bones, people making jokes saying, haha, they're saying that like, you losing in the drills like made you. This man used to put me against this 330 pounder in practice, dog. Like one on one, like not even pass rush, just like run blocking. Like it's just like one person goes this way, one person like tries to go this way. Putting me against someone who's 330 pounds when I'm like 220 to 240 pounds. You know what I mean? And then of course it's like I get shit on when I don't win the drill, but it's like a drill where everyone knew before I did it that I couldn't win it. Am I going to try my hardest every time? Absolutely. Every time do I go in being like, this is the time I get them. This is the time. Yes, but does it work? No, because things I have nothing. I don't have the strength. Don't have the physical power. Don't have the weight to even shrink in. The one thing I can do, endurance. And my endurance never gets credit. Like imagine, bro, you're living through. You suck at everything. You're horrible. The one thing you're good at, nobody cares about. Like I knew this one dude. He horrible conditioning, wasn't fast, but he was the strongest dude on the team. Power to him. Love that guy. But he's lifting. They're like, oh yeah, let's go. Yeah. Credit to this guy. Credit to him. But me, we run to the stadium, do stadiums, run back. I'm the first one back. The first one back by far. By far. I get, oh, nice prize. And then the next person who comes in, oh yeah, Jesse, let's go. I'll never forget that, bro. You know how that make you feel? The one thing you're good at, nobody cares about. People seeing you turn into a skeleton, bro. They're asking you to do weight in the weight room that you can't do. You try and you literally collapse under the weight multiple times. Nobody cares. They look at you with great shame. They're like like this right here. And as this is happening, it's these moments where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna die. Like I'm like, I don't know exactly how, but I was like, I'm not living through this. I'm not getting to the next point, and it's like as I'm slowly turning into a skeleton, the jokes increase. Oh my gosh, look at Bryce. Look how he's looking. Yeah. Bro, you look sick. You look horrible. Don't even have the energy to say anything to them anymore. Just walk through, complete my day, complete the workout to my best of ability, do my workouts after, keep it trekking, keep it on. Bro, I cracked my sternum, bro. And they told me, like, doctor literally told me, hey, man, you shouldn't practice with this cracked sternum. You definitely shouldn't practice today. But then I go to practice, what do I see? I see my practice jersey. And I'm like, hey, like, I thought, doctor told me I shouldn't practice today. And they're like, we'll just see how it goes. And when they say see how it goes, they mean you're practicing. You're practicing that day. Literally can't even go even a little bit down on a push-up. Literally can't extend my arms forward whatsoever. But I guess I'm practicing. My body's breaking down in more ways than one. I'm getting spots in my vision because I can't really see. Actually, I can't really see because I'm getting spots of it. That was better. Super sensitive to light, super sensitive to the sun. I literally was just like, I was like, I guess this is happening. But anyways, meeting with that doctor person, I still don't know what officially to call them, And then I was talking to them, and they're like, oh, like mentally, how are you feeling? I was like, yeah, not the best. And then they were asking me about like the thoughts of taking my own life. They're like, oh, do you have any of those? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And they were like, how often? And I was like, it doesn't stop. And they were like, what do you mean it doesn't stop? And I was like, there's no not thinking about it. So it's like, I couldn't even tell you how much I think about it because it's like, it just doesn't go away. And then they're like, okay, so we're going to take you to the hospital. And I was like, I guess. Because again, I could not bring myself to care about anything that was happening at that time. And plus, what's funny is I was like, okay, this little like appointment is like before practice. I'm kind of running late to practice. They would understand like the fact that like they wouldn't have punished me for being late there, but I would have had to like do extreme hustle. But I'm like, okay, if they take me to the hospital, like just for an appointment, like I'll probably just, be able to, like just get back whenever. Not that it was really my choice though, because they definitely would have just like forced me to do it anyways because of what I said about like taking my own life. But basically, go to the hospital and then they're like, yeah, bro, like you're going to have to stay here for a bit. And I'm like, okay. And then they take my heart rate and they see it's 32. They start freaking out. They're bringing people in. They're like, wait, you got to check this. I think I'm doing something wrong. They're like, oh, it's 32. And they're like, are you okay? Like, do you feel dizzy? Like you're going to pass out? And I'm like, no, I feel perfectly fine. And they basically explained to me that like I have the heart rate of a coma patient. You know what I mean? And like they're literally asking me, they're like, okay, so how long have you been sitting out of practices? I was like, I never sat out of a practice, never sat out of a workout. And they're explaining to me that at any moment, I could have dropped dead. Could have been deceased. I'm like, tee hee ha ha, that's crazy. So then I end up being in 2 different hospitals over the course of like a month because of, my general mental illness as well as my eating disorder. So that was, what happened. But then when I got out, I'm like, okay, I'm healthy now. Like I'm better with, my eating. Like I have a better like mindset for it. Let me go back to the team and have a grand old time. And I talked to team staff members and they're like, okay, it might, take a while to get you cleared physically, but okay. I'm like, all right, bet. Like I'll go through those things to get cleared physically. But then I find out they took me out of my classes. Okay. And I'm like, what do you mean you took me out of my class? Took me out of my classes. So I was no longer enrolled in a student. Hence I could no longer be on the team. And I'm like, that's crazy. Again, they're trying to actively just like kick me out the school. And I'm like, this kind of sucks. Like what's going on here? And I was contacting staff members and literally nobody was telling me what was going on. Some staff members, I heard this from players on team, said they started bringing weapons to their offices because they were afraid I was going to like come to get them. And I genuinely don't know why they thought that. That's like crazy to me. But anyways, I have to do appeal after appeal after appeal to even get back into the school in the first place. And even when I'm back there, I'm forced to medically retire. Okay, again, this dream I had playing college football never came to. I practiced college football. Playing college football never came to fruition. My initial dream, but my secondary dream of my father one day seeing me play, never gonna happen. Boom, boom, boom. So sad. That's my life. Those are things that occurred to me, man. And mind you, that like most of that, like there's a little bit near the end, but like I was like 19. Like when all like especially with football, when all that happened, I was 19. Like now they kept like trying to kick me out of school. I kept having to file appeal after appeal after appeal to get back in. Like that was later into my 20s. I mean, not later, but you know what I'm trying to say, into my 20s. But from about 5 to 19, like I told you, that's what I had to go through, man. So no, dating is not the biggest deal to me. And that's why, I made my content and people take it very, very seriously. They're like, wait, you're a manipulator? You manipulate people? Oh, you have a roster? Oh no, you talk to 2 women at the same time? Oh no, it's not that big of a deal to me. Because I know there are bigger things to life. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm not in a relationship, there could be far worse things that could have happened, far worse things currently happening. That could be my reality. So like, these notions that people put out there, oh man, if you don't pay for a woman, if you don't pay for a woman's meal, like on the first date, she's not gonna like you. She's not gonna like that. For one, not true. But second of all, I don't care. Even if it was, oh man, you wear earrings, bro. Women aren't gonna like a man who wears earrings. First of all, not true. Second of all, I wouldn't care if it was. Again, you see a pattern here. The thing is, I was going through all that shit alone. Did I have like small romantic interests? Yeah, sure. Like, again, I was cracking shit. All right, but again, mixing that into the story wouldn't have been. It would have made it less dramatic and depressing for you, the viewer. But basically, for all intents and purposes, really alone throughout that experience. So it's like, if I had to get through shit like that alone, I can get through life alone. Because again, that's me going through life and death. Again, I shouldn't be here right now. I should not have been able to survive going through practices at the lack of nutrition, hence malnutrition I had. I've had a second chance at life, okay? Which doesn't invigorate me as much as I thought it would. Like those people who like get second chances at life and they're like, man, I just look at everything like this. That's not necessarily me, but it's like, there's no way a relationship can have that much of an impact over me, to be real. Like is in the sense where it's like, there's no way I need that shit to be happy. Like there's no reason I can't trek through life being single. Particularly because, I have a roster and that's pretty much going to be a thing. And this is not an anti-settling down video. Again, like I hope I can get to that point where I do want to settle down. You know what I mean? With a particular person who that's like the vibe we have. Like that's where the chemistry leads to naturally. But I'm saying if that doesn't happen, I'll still be perfectly fine. Because I know there's more to life than relationships. And I say this every time, bro. Women, one of their favorite phrases, Bryce, you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Oh, which you talking to someone else at the same time you're talking to me? That's the worst thing anyone's ever done to me, Bryce. You leading me on, that's the worst thing anyone's ever done to me. Well, guess what? People die. Could have been you, could have been me. You never know what happens, bro. Could have been someone close to you. So it's like, if that's the worst thing that happened to you, take it as a badge of honor. If the worst thing that happens to you through your entire life is you're single a bit longer than you wish you were, you should be so happy about that, bro. And in totality, what this video is about is the fact that, yes, I got into more specifics. It's about the fact that dating is not that serious. And the reason I find success in dating is because I don't take it that seriously. The reason I'm satisfied with my dating life is because it's unserious to me. Like, again, how I ruined two women's perceptions of love. I think I even say in the video, like, I was talking to two women at the same time. Someone told me, hey, it's not going to end well. And I was like, hey, man, I guess I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And I crossed that bridge when I came to it. Like, trust, there's more serious shit to be worrying about. And also, I'm not going to lie, part of my vibe, part of why I get like these hoes, that overall internal sadness from that traumatic monologue I gave you. Okay, they sense that there's something within me that happened. Like I be telling that story to the hoes. They start crying. I love it. I'm like, yeah, see, now I got you right where I want you. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of makes you compatible. That's why, bro, when you have some trauma, you kind of got to milk it for the young ladies or young men if you're a woman or if you're gay. Yeah, gay people. But you know what I mean, dog? It's like I'm not gonna put pressure on a relationship to change my life. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do. Like, oh man, I really just need a baddie. Like, oh, I'm depressed. I need a baddie. Like, I need to date somebody. Like, I feel like I think like when I was like a kid, like I was like, man, I want a girlfriend. Like that's the type of timing I was on. But I feel like some people are on that as an adult, and y'all just don't understand. I'm not saying not reasonable, but it's just not. It's not the reality of things. Y'all care too much. Again, like that person has to be your person, and it's like, dude, like if they're not. Is that really that bad compared to things that could be happening to you right now? Like you'll be fine. Literally just vibe. That's what I'm saying. Like the treat them like a human being and just vibe method, undefeated. Like again, like this overarching theme, you care too much. You're thinking about it too hard. Meet people, vibe. Don't vibe if you don't vibe. But be who you are. And people are either gonna like that or they're not going to like that. And the people who like that, they might like it to a certain level. They might not like it to a certain level. But you will always be always be more secure too, but always more satisfied in situations where you lead with your personality and like, oh, rather than leading with, hey, let's force this dynamic. Then, hey, oh, look at these things I could do for you. Like if we have this dynamic later on, just have faith in yourself as a human being. Like all these stupid rules, bro, break every rule in the book. Social conventions don't matter. See, and another thing that whole thing I told you about taught me, you can be doing everything right, everything you're supposed to. Like I said, I was out there getting extra work every time. They told us to sit in the front row of classrooms. I sat in the front row of every classroom, was doing my schoolwork. During the time where we had to wear a mask, I always wore a mask. Didn't go to parties where we had to wear masks. I did everything right, and still, like everything society would tell you that you have to do in order to do that. Still didn't happen. Still didn't work out for me. So I'm telling you, don't fall for this baloney. Don't fall for this crap where in order to get someone to like you, you have to do this. You have to act like this. Because all that does is push people away, especially because people know the social conventions. Like, you know, you talk to a young lady and you like ask her to dinner. Like she knows like, okay, he's asking me to dinner because society deems that he should ask me to dinner. But when you actually like talk to someone for an extended period of time, it's like, wait. People normally don't do this, especially as a man. It's like, oh, people usually don't just talk to me in my DMs and get to know me for so long before seeing me. Wait a minute, this is admirable. And boom, there you go. I'm telling you, it's magic. Like again, like when I told you talking stages could last a year, like part of, and even people tell me like, how long do you go before linking? It can be long as hell, bro. I've waited like a year to link, straight up. Not waited myself, but I mean, I've waited a year to link. Like me and the person like didn't link until like a year after. So much of the intrigue is like, oh my gosh, the average person doesn't do this. Like this is not normal. There you go. And it's like because people love uniqueness, but it's like you paint yourself as like this unique individual doing this unique thing. Oh man, this socially, like people don't normally do this. And it's like, oh, like that's admirable. People like that, bro. People like that. And again, it puts you in a position to get to know somebody in a pure way rather than in a way that's by the bounds of social construct. And what people don't say is we all hate the social constructs, right? Like straight up. That's why when I talk about gender roles, it's so funny because women hate the concept of having to cook and clean all the time. And men hate the concept of having to pay for women all the time. You know what I mean? Like truly. And obviously I can't say everybody, but I mean genuinely most people. So it's like some people complain about those gender roles. They hate that concept, but they're still going to abide by them. You know what I mean? So it's like people don't understand how much they hate society's constructed, right? How society is constructed. So when they witness someone who's not moving how society is constructed, they admire it. I'm not even gonna lie. Part of that is the reason I have my fucking job. Thank you. But like part of the reason is because people will see my content and be like, this guy is weird. This is a weird guy. He says things that I don't necessarily relate to. Now, sometimes you do in certain ways, like, oh, like I relate to that. I never would have said it that way though. He's saying this. I never would have said this out loud. Oh, this guy got pooped on? Why the fuck would he tell us this? Oh, this guy, he's wearing earrings, but like he just sleeps with a bunch of women? Oh, people call him gay and he doesn't deny the allegations? What? Y'all gotta understand, a big part of my intrigue is me not buying into social constraints. And y'all love that, okay? And that's the same reason a lot of these hoes on me, bouncing it on me. That's what they be doing, and that's why the friends I do have are also my friends because they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's weird. I'm like, wow, like this different guy. I'm telling you, not only is society like telling you you need to care about dating so much, but it's also telling you how to maneuver within dating. Once you let go of both of those things, you will date so much more successfully, given that you're attractive. The second you understand that, the second you start doing it, bro, and the things I've seen other people give this advice that they haven't really articulated it this way, but like other people give that advice, and a lot of people don't understand. But I'm telling you, it works. Now, dude, I'm loving yapping today. I went way over the time I thought I was gonna go, but yeah, I feel bad for the people who want to like eat like dinner or lunch to me because I'm posting this so late. But like, bro, no, when I gotta speak, I gotta speak. So yeah, this video is coming out late, but like, hopefully you appreciate it. But yeah, and I can't give you too much state of affairs because I'm, again, I'm running super late. But thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, everything I have to say. I'm so sorry, and I love you. Have a great day, night, evening, morning.